97.3 The Fan listeners. If you're drowsy, sluggish, or feeling fatigued, you're about to get your afternoon boost with Tony Gwynn Jr.
And my man in the airport was like, Larry's gonna kill you.
Chris Ello.
I know what Skraby is thinking, I believe. And that's a dangerous precedent to set.
And Matt Skraby.
Well, this is just great, everybody.
Don't blame us for any side effects.
You thrilled our fans throughout the postseason.
Gwynn and Chris are ready to go.
And welcome to it, everybody. We kick off a manic Monday, if it were. That was a great start. You want to bring us in again? We kick off.
Gwynn and Chris are ready to go.
If it were, yeah, my grammar was just all over the map there. Kicking them off. Here we go. Monday it is. Welcome to it, Gwynn and Chris on San Diego's #1 sports talk station, 97.3 The Fan. Chris Ello, Matt Skraby today, together in our Odyssey Palace studios in San Diego. Tony Gwynn Jr. is going through customs. He's I don't know if he is, but hopefully he has an easier time getting through to Canada than we had last year with the women's basketball team. Do you remember that story I told you? No, with the women. Oh, I'm sorry. Women's basketball team to Mexico.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't
definitely
make that
remember
clear.
that.
And I told you the story
that.
how we were on the bus waiting for over 2 hours.
Yes.
While we fought with the agents there to try and get some of the equipment through. And anyway, it was quite the nightmare to get the team into Mexico. So hopefully the Padres had a little cleaner trip into Canada. They're off today. They will begin a series tomorrow with the Toronto Blue Jays. Tony is taking the day off with the Padres today. So it'll be Skraby and I. And before we go anywhere, before we even refer to the fact that the Padres had a terrible weekend, before we refer to the fact that Juan Soto is now showing the true Juan Soto that we all know and love to the fans in New York, and we will get into that.
Wow.
Yeah. And before we get into the fact that Scotty Scheffler made a mincemeat of the PGA Championships, and before we get into the Final Four in the NBA and the NHL, and before we get into Caitlyn Clark and Angel Reese dominating the headlines in the WNBA, let us please give a warm and hearty thank you and congratulations to the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. I need a bigger applause than that. Take a moment to let that sink in, people. Where would we be on this Monday, Skraby, without those Angels sweeping the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium, unceremoniously dumping the blue, getting 13 runs in 13 innings off of Dodger starting pitching? Treating Clayton Kershaw rather rudely in his return to the mound. I think he gave up 5 runs in 4 innings Saturday night.
I want to say to be expected, but I also want to say he's old.
Kershaw?
Yeah.
Oh, don't say to be expected. This is his first game.
That's what I'm saying. To be expected that he gave up a bunch of runs.
Yeah, don't stay too old yet. Kershaw still have a little something left, I feel. But the bottom line is the Dodgers are hurting right now. And so if the Padres were going to pick a weekend to get swept at home, maybe this was the one to be swept because you lost no ground. Now, you did lose ground to the Giants. I think it's kind of interesting. Everybody says, well, it didn't hurt us. It hurt you because the Giants won 3 straight themselves over the Athletics. And now the Giants are right back there. It's the Dodgers on top. It's the Padres and Giants 1 game behind. And by the time we all wake up tomorrow, Skraby, the Padres could find themselves in 3rd place. Because while the Padres are idle tonight, the Giants will be home to Kansas City. And if the Giants win that game, Padres, hello, 3rd place. So, yeah, it was a weekend that was not good. There's nothing good about this. No matter how you want to try to couch it, no matter how you want to make a bunch of excuses. First of all, if you want to make a bunch of excuses, give me a good one. Everyone's in the lineup. All the pitchers were there. The bullpen is healthy. There's no excuses. Don't give me an excuse. Don't tell me, well, Yu Darvish isn't back yet. He hasn't been here all season. There's no excuse other than the fact that baseball is baseball. There's no excuse for going 0 for 21 with runners in scoring position. Now, I'm not saying they were pressing, but they had to be. By yesterday, almost guaranteed they're squeezing that bat too tight because they know they're 0 for 21. Apparently, the last time the Padres went 0 for 21 in a weekend series against anyone was 2013. I don't know how they find this stuff out and who digs it up, but it's been 12 years since they've been that bad. And make no mistake, they were bad. They didn't have good at-bats with runners in scoring position, right? A lot of easy contact, a lot of strikeouts, a lot of chasing the baseball. Jackson Merrill, incredible. Last Wednesday, after he went 2 for 2, and remember the game? He had the single, the double, the triple, threw out the runner at the plate, diving catches.
I think it was Monday.
Yeah, whatever. I think they lost the game that he did all that.
Yeah, it was the Robert Suarez game.
Right. Okay. They lost that game. And since that game, he's 1 for 21. And I could get him out right now. By the way, the hoodie is throwing me off.
Sorry, I'm putting on the hood.
Did it get too cold in here?
No, I'm putting on the hood because you
don't want anybody to see you? What's the matter? Are you having a bad hair day?
This was such a terrible weekend that
you don't want to be seen?
No, the hood makes me feel safe for some reason.
I mean, I'm talking about a disaster weekend. I look over, Skraby's putting his hoodie on. I thought you were going to, pull a little firearm on your side and come over and rob me of my goods.
No, I would not do that.
No, but Jackson Merrill, this is crazy. But it looks like I could get him out right now. You know why I could get him out? Because all I got to do is throw the ball 5 feet over his head and he'll swing at it and go sit down. It's incredible how that can happen to somebody that good. But it has. The bottom of the lineup, although let's give credit where it's due, okay? Iglesias went 2 for 3 yesterday. Diaz went 1 for 3. So they had 3 hits at the bottom of the lineup yesterday. But by and large, the bottom 2 in the lineup is an automatic out. But what are you going to do? Every team in baseball, Dodgers included, Tigers, who have the best record, included, every team in baseball pays all of their money to the superstars at the top 5 or 6, 7 at the lineup. And nobody has anything left over for the guys who can't hit the ball out of the infield batting 8th or 9th. It's not a problem that is just the Padres. But here is one that is starting to show itself and starting to matter. I was joking around about this for the first 6 weeks of the season, Skrabe, that the Padres had remarkably gone over 200 plate appearances without hitting a 3-run homer. And then they went to Colorado, and they did it twice in 2 innings, and they won 21-0. Well, since that game, they haven't done it since. And without the 3-run homer, the only way you can score is to get a hit with runners in scoring position. It's the only way. And they didn't get any. So what'd they do? Solo homer, and I think it was a run-scoring double that Cronenworth had in the 9th inning of the first game. But you're not going to score the way they are currently constructed without the home run. And I did a little more on this, Skrabe. In the Padres' 18 losses this year, I think that's a pretty decent sample size.
Yeah.
I don't think 18 losses is a small, insignificant amount.
No. How many games have they played? 45?
45.
What's the percentage of 18?
You mean 27 and 18? What do you mean?
Never mind.
No, 27 and 18 is a 600 win percentage, which is plenty good.
Never mind. Keep going.
Thank you. 18 is 2/5 of the games. They've lost 40% of their games.
That's what I'm trying to get at.
That's what you wanted.
That sample size is there.
The sample size is 40% of their games. In those 18 games, the Padres have hit exactly 1 home run with a man on base. That's it. 1. The only home run they've hit with a man on base in a game that they lost was a Sunday in Houston. Might have been a Saturday. It's a little while ago, but I remember Arise hit a 2-run homer in a game they lost 6-4. That's it. They've hit 1 homer with a man on base. So you take away the fact that they're not hitting home runs. and at least not hitting them when it, can really hurt the other team when it can put up a crooked number.
Yeah.
Okay, when they're not hitting home runs, making crooked numbers, and they can't hit it with runners in scoring position as they did over the weekend, they're going to lose. I don't care what the pitching does. I don't care that the bullpen is what it is, which is not very good. I mean, let's be frank. The last 10 games, the bullpen has an ERA over 11. Again, that's a decent sample size. I don't want to pick on Matsui. He's been great this year. But his ERA went up 1 full run yesterday because he walked the bases loaded in the 9th inning. Suarez walked the bases loaded and then walked in a run. What's happened here? The bullpen is not good right now. They just aren't.
Are they being relied upon too much? Are we not getting enough out of the starting pitching?
No, they're in a slump. I just feel it's a slump. And I'm not going to dismiss it simply and say, well, they're in a slump. They've got to get it together here. You can't just go out there and walk the yard coming in out of the bullpen. Not acceptable. And I'm leaving one last thing, because this is probably the most controversial issue in my mind right now. All of what I've said, to me, leads to this. The Padres are not scoring when they don't get runners in scoring position. That's true of any team. Honestly, it is. And baseball does that. The Padres are hitting over 300 with runners in scoring position in the games they win. So they do hit with runners in scoring position. But in the games they've lost, they're hitting 129. Okay, so we got that. We put that together with the fact they're not hitting the home runs with crooked number of home runs. It all comes back to one guy. My favorite guy, Manny Machado.
Oh, I was like, who are we talking
Manny
about?
Machado has got to start hitting some home runs. He
went over in the last 3 games.
I don't care that Manny Machado is closing in on the 2,000 career hit thing. I don't need him to go 3 for 4 with 3 singles.
Last time I checked, a home run is a hit.
Isn't that right? Yeah, thank you, Skraby. That's well said, and it sounds like something I would say. But yeah, he's got to start going over the boards. He's got to start driving in the 3-run homer. The only 2 3-run homers are hitting by Jason Hayward, who's not going to be around much longer, and Fernando, who's really the sole source of consistent power we have. Manny, they need him to save a couple of games with those 3-run homers that he is here to hit. He's paid to hit those.
What are his...
So it's got to happen. I'm sorry. I don't have time to get more deep into it, but I will. We're underway.
Padres also made a roster move.
Yeah, we'll get to all of these little ins and outs are coming up. So don't go anywhere. We got a lot more to get to on the Padres. Padres Pen Pals at the bottom of the hour. Gwynn and Chris underway for a Monday. Thanks for being here. Hey, everyone. $18 is the time. Chris Ello. Tony Gwynn Jr. is idle today, but Matt Skraby is far from idle.
Far from idle.
We are doing the Skraby Chronicles here for the next 4 hours, and then Skraby takes over himself from 6 to 7 on a day that the Padres will, well, I doubt they'll cross their fingers, but we will.
I identified for the Skraby show. I have identified 2 players that I would like for the Padres to go after in a trade for a left fielder. And they're not like names that everybody knows.
It's not Ted Williams, and it's
not Ted Williams. It's not
real possibilities.
Real possibilities, guys that are middle of the pack with good contracts. I did about 3 hours of research yesterday to identify these guys.
Well, let's not give it away.
Yeah, no, I won't.
You'll have it on the Skraby.
I'll tell you in the break.
Thank you. We'll have it on the Skrabinator show a little bit later tonight. The Padres will, Matt Skraby will single-handedly resolve the Padres' left field woes. I'll get back to the left field situation.
We have plenty of time to talk about that.
I'm picking on Manny Machado, and it's hard to do it if you look at a lot of the statistics. He's hitting .317, which is 50 points above his career average. I know he didn't have much of a weekend, but then nobody did. If you look at him with runners in scoring position, he's much better than that even. He's hitting .366 with runners in scoring position. He's driven in 15 runs, which is third most on the team. By the way, let's throw this out there for fun, Scrabe. See if anybody takes it to heart. Who do you think leads the Padres in RBIs when they come up with runners in scoring position?
I immediately want to say Xander Bogaerts because I feel like it's a trick question, but
it is a trick question, and it is.
I can't remember him doing that, though.
He has 16 RBIs this year with runners in scoring position. Manny has 15. So anyway, I'll remember that next time the Xander haters come out. But Manny Machado, my thing is, first of all, I'm not a Manny hater. You know I love Manny. He's Machado. Yeah. But I think the Manny is not brought here to hit singles with runners in scoring position. And if you look, with 41 at-bats in scoring position this year, Manny's got 9 singles, 6 doubles. No homers. And I need some homers. I need some crooked numbers. Manny's driving in 1 run at a time. I don't want to give it back, but he needs to start driving in 2 or 3 runs at a time. That's Manny's spot on this team. Let Jose Iglesias single to right field and drive in a run. Let Arise double down the line and maybe get 2 to come in, right? Manny needs to give me 3. And that's what he's here for. That's what he makes $30+ million a year to do. He doesn't make that money to hit .317. And I can say this because Tony would he's not here. If Tony was here, he'd be livid with me because he'd be like, oh, nothing will please you. It's not true. I'm appreciative of what he does, but the 280 Manny with 30 home runs is going to be far more valuable to this team than a 320 Manny with 9 home runs.
But I don't understand because he's still driving in runs. Isn't that the whole point of hitting with runners in scoring position? Yeah, okay. He might not be driving in the 3 runs. He might not be clearing the bases with a grand slam or anything. But he's still getting guys in.
All right,
on the chat, someone said Manny only strikes out with bases loaded with runners in scoring position. That's not true.
No, he's hitting .366 with runners in scoring position.
So please, that stuff bothers me. Is when you make
when you just make a blanket statement and don't actually factually look it up.
Yes.
All right, here's my thing again, Manny. If you want to just go overall driving in runs, they played 45 games. They have 9 games left. Okay, they have 3 in Toronto, they have 3 in Atlanta, and then they have 3 home games with Miami. After those 9 games, they'll be at 54. The reason I feel 54 is important, That is the exact 1/3 mark of the season. Right now, Manny has 20 RBIs. 20. So if he didn't get a single RBI the next 9 games, he'd come to the 1/3 mark on pace for a 60.
60 RBIs?
For the season.
I know. This is a guy
that has 106, 102, 91, 105 the last 4 years. And if you take away the 2020 season, he has 85 before that, 107, 95, 96. I'm not saying he won't get there, but he's not anywhere near the pace that he's normally on.
I agree with that.
Okay. So you can't tell me that even though he's hitting 366 RISP, that he's driving in enough runs. He's not. For this team to be ultimately successful.
In that regard, you're right.
Well, there's a lot of different ways to skin a cat, and you can look at these statistics a lot of different ways. But I'm just looking at the big one. He's got 20 ribs. Maybe he'll get 3-4 more in the next 9 games, hopefully more. But let's say he's got 25 by the end of the 9 games here. He'd be on pace for 75. That's not going to be enough to get the Padres a division title.
No, it's not without
it might
Xander
get them,
really stepping it up.
Either that
Jackson Merrill not slumping at all.
Manny's got to get 90. That's what he needs.
That's his career.
And he needs 20-plus home runs. This guy, 28, 32, 30, 29. Right now, he's on pace for 9. It's not enough.
All right, I just looked up Manny Machado through 45 games to start a year and what his home runs are.
Okay.
In 2018 was his most, 14 home runs with the Orioles. First time he was with the Padres was 2020. He had 12.
Okay.
Mostly he's got 9, 8, 6, 6, 6, 5, 5, 5, 4, 3. So he starts slow.
Last year he had 4 at this point.
Yes.
Okay.
No, he had 5. He had 5.
All right. Look, all I'm saying is what happened last year. Am I saying he can't do it? No. What I'm saying is what happened last year when he had 5 and ended with 29 has got to start happening this year.
I agree.
Because otherwise, there's going to be more weekends like this last one. Because they're going to have weekends where you can't get a hit with runner in scoring position. It just works that way. And so when you can't, you need the big fly. The only way you can get runs.
This is how I view Manny Machado. When the rest of the team is struggling, the leader has to step up. The leader has to be there. And so that wasn't there this weekend. And yes, it's a team sport. But when you are the de facto guy of the team, you have to be better when everybody else is bad.
Well, you do if you want to win those games.
Exactly.
If you want to win those games.
And that's what a lot of teams have. They have other guys stepping up. And then if they need their superstar to do it, they do it.
Maybe so. But right now, despite the weekend being swept, the Padres are 2 games behind the best record in baseball. So nobody, and I mean nobody, Tigers, Dodgers, Mets, Phillies, Giants included, Yankees, is immune to going through one of these spells.
Yeah, you're right.
The rest of the teams in baseball are all doing it.
Yes.
Otherwise, the Padres would be languishing 10, 15 games behind the pace of these teams, but they're not.
And that's what you guys have taught me through the 8 years we've done this show. First year we did this show, I'm panicking. This is all over. Let's get rid of Manny.
Yeah, right.
Second year, I'm a little bit better. By year 8, I realized that these things happen. And Manny Machado, looking at his starts through 45 games,
you're not concerned.
He always ends up with his numbers.
I don't know that I'm saying I'm concerned either. I don't think I used that word.
You didn't. No.
What I said was, you want to not have weekends like this? Manny's got to be your guy. He's got to step up and give you the 3-run homer. That's how you're going to win a couple of these games. Because you're getting home runs from Fernando. Merrill's doing plenty. The rest of these guys are all contributing, I think, about what you would expect them to contribute. Manny's batting average is high, but the numbers that are more important are low.
Dan says,
for him,
like Manny says, look at the back of my baseball card at the end of the season.
I will.
But it doesn't tell the full story of how the first part of the season there was games that were lost because you didn't have those numbers.
He better hope that his baseball card numbers change between now and then. Look, yes, Manny will probably do. It's hard for me to say all this without people thinking I'm really down on him, etc. I'm trying to point out how we can best avoid suffering through weekends like that. And on a weekend like that, I have to point at Manny.
East County Chris, are we really complaining about a guy hitting 317? We're not complaining, but he is the leader of the team. He's the guy who has to make things go. That is his job. Fernando's job is not that job. Manny is the guy who people look at when they talk about the Padres' leadership inside the clubhouse. He is the guy.
If this team struggles in power, which they do, we've already detailed it. How many different ways do I need to detail it? They never hit any home runs with runners on base. The guy that you need to do that is Manny. Not complaining about Manny. I'm pointing out what needs to start happening if you want to not go through weekends like we just went through. I think this team's going to win a bunch of games regardless. But, I don't like sitting here going 0 for 21 RISP and scoring 3 runs a whole series.
And I don't like it either, Chris, because we spent so much time talking about runners in scoring position 2 years ago, and I thought
it's the number one stat in baseball.
It is.
It's just the number one stat in baseball. It just is. There's no two ways about it. But let's go back real quick before we take a break. About 3 weeks ago, the Phillies got swept against the Mets, and the Phillies sports guy said, how are we ever going to make up 4 games?
Yeah.
And John Kruk was like, yeah, it's going to be pretty tough with 130 games left in the season. He was
fair weather idiot.
Yeah. Well, the Phillies all of a sudden are now half game behind the Mets. It changes quickly, and it changes from week to week.
And I will say this, too, because Tyler on the chat said, I'm paraphrasing, Merrill didn't do much this weekend.
Much.
Yeah,
he didn't do anything.
Lost. That's why they lost. Jackson Merrill's going to go into mini slumps.
Did I mention it? Did he went 1 for 21 since his good game? I think I did. It was part of the problem.
There's a lot that was part of the problem, including me saying last week that left field wasn't an issue, but I'm rethinking my whole thoughts on left field.
Take a break. More Gwynn and Chris, Padres Pen Pals. So more. We'll get attacked with some questions when we come back. Dissecting a lousy weekend. Mariners, what was it? 5-1, 4-1, 6-1. Sounds like a tennis score that you're not on a good side of.
It
right?
Totally
you didn't
does.
do well.
It totally does.
So, hey, hit the road, see if they can't turn it. I will show. I have to point this out, Skrabe.
What?
Because I meant to. The American League was supposed to suck this year. In fact, everybody has said that. The National League is far superior to the American League. How many times have you heard that?
Millions.
1 million this year. Padres record against the National League, 17-4. Padres record against the weaker American League, 10-14.
Well, it seems like they're basically in the American League. All they do is play American League teams now. Chris, they played the Angels. They played the Mariners. They're going to play the Blue Jays, and then they get to play the Braves. So 3 straight series against American League teams. It doesn't matter. There's nothing to it except for it's annoying to me.
What's your point? Yeah, you have to play them all. They've played 8 series so far against American League teams, but they're 10-14. That's not good. But they're crushing the National League, 17-4. Make some sense of that. I cannot.
Okay, good. We're on the same page.
Cannot make any sense of that. Toronto is next, though, another American League team. And I wanted 2 more things, and then we're going to get to Padres Pen Pals. First of all, I'm getting a lot of the DMs. You're getting them.
Oh, gosh.
Okay. Chris, stop complaining about Manny Machado. You're not listening to me. You're hearing me, but you're not really absorbing what I'm trying to say. Either that or I'm not doing a good job of explaining it. I'm not complaining about Manny Machado. 317, fantastic. 847 OPS, 20 higher than his career. But if you're going to get where you want to go, Manny's going to have to start putting some crooked numbers up on the board for you. He is. And I did a little more digging for you. When he bats with 2 runners on base this year, he's 3 for 11 with 4 RBIs. That means with 2 runners on, he's driven in more than 1 run twice. With the bases loaded, he's 1 for 6 with 2 RBIs. Manny Machado this year, with 1 swing of the bat, has put a crooked number on the board 3 times. That's not enough to get you and the Padres where they need to go. RBI singles are fantastic. Manny is not hired for RBI singles. I'm just saying. I'm not complaining.
Correct.
I'm telling you the reality. He himself, with a swing of the bat, is the guy that changes games when he's doing that. That's what you need from him. You'll probably get it, as Skraby pointed out. He always starts a little slow in the power department. So by the end, his bubblegum card will look like it usually looks. But for the time being, we need it.
Yeah.
That's all I'm trying to say. So if I'm not explaining that, if you think I'm picking on him or you think I hate him or all that, that's for you to think.
Believe you me, if I disagreed with Chris and thought he was picking on Manny Machado, I would say it, but I don't think he is.
It's
that's one of the beauties of our show, Chris, is that people know we'll call each other out.
I love Manny. I love Manny Machado, but he's been a little more Manny Machado lately. I need a little bit, I need the Machado to return. That's number 1 real quick. Number 2, Oscar Gonzalez will not be coming back anytime soon to play left field. As a matter of fact, he won't be coming back at all. Skraby, explain, please, because I don't understand it all.
He, according to Dennis Lynn, here's his tweet. I'll just read it.
Okay.
After trading Connor Joe last week, the Padres are parting with another left field option. They placed Oscar Gonzalez on unconditional release waivers to allow him to pursue an opportunity with the Japanese team, sources said.
Oscar Gonzalez is heading overseas. Probably not going to be bringing him back in to take over left field anytime soon either.
If I'm to look into this,
there isn't much
does that
else
mean
out
that
there.
they told him he's not going to get a lot of options anymore?
I don't know.
Opportunities?
That's a good question. Did they just say, look, go ahead and play in Japan? I don't know.
I mean, because maybe a team came to him, they made him an offer he can't refuse. And then
Marlon.
And then he took it, and he had to go ask the Padres. Unconditional release waivers.
It's kind of a weird one.
I'm sure that there's some rule.
Somebody can explain it.
The Padres still own him or something.
Yeah, maybe if they really need him back, they can, send a Juan Soto's private jet to pick him up and bring him back to the United States.
Juan Soto's private jet, huh?
Yeah, we'll get back into that. We haven't even got into Juan Soto yet, but wait till we do.
No, man.
You're not going to want to miss it. All right.
I mean, it does look really weird now that Connor Joe's gone. Connor Joe, I know he did nothing for the Padres. He
had 9 at bats also. So it wasn't much.
Which isn't anything.
It's not enough.
And he's doing okay for the Reds.
Doing okay.
He's right in the lineup with the Reds.
Yeah, they look. They've left themselves a situation where they're gonna have to go find a left fielder. But I feel fine because you have the answer on the Skraby Show later today.
I have 2 names that I have identified.
Looking forward to that. In the meantime, we've got answers to your Padres Pen Pals questions.
It's time to ask the experts, Padres fans.
I was hoping maybe you can bring a little insight into it.
Write us, tweet us, Facebook us, send a carrier pigeon for Chris. He thinks they're cute. Padres Pen Pals begins
Hurt the pelota big time.
now on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, my favorite Padres Pen Pal days are not days after they get swept over the weekend.
How are the letters? Pretty kind today?
Some of them were just downright rude.
I was thinking of this while I was watching them. I gave up once Matsui started walking the yard.
I did too.
So once that happened, I started thinking, why am I down and out about this, other than the fact that I'd like to see them win? But there's more at stake there. And you agree with me. When they lose, you and I, for some reason, and Tony and Ben and Woods and Braden and Adam and who knows who else, we seem to take a lot more heat for it.
We do.
We don't play. But it's our fault that we're not being critical enough. We're not yelling enough. We're not screaming at them. We're not holding them accountable. We're not holding their feet to the fire. So somehow it's our fault when they're not doing well. I expected this kind of reaction.
I did too, and it's fine. But I want people to bring the same energy when we are praising the team. Because when we praise the team, it's, well, they don't have this, they don't have that. And then when we're defending the team, it's like, well, you guys are just shills for the team anyway.
Yes, we
are. Sometimes we can't win, and that is fine. I will gladly go back and forth with you on DM if you're respectful.
By the way, the reason that I'm depressed that they lost over the weekend is I can't come on here today and say nice things about them, which means the Padres will be not paying me my usual fee for being a shill for the team.
Lucky's not going to be able to eat this week.
Right. I usually get, when they win, I come on, say how great they are. The Padres send me money. But that's not going to happen today. So
I don't think I actually played the Open, but it doesn't matter.
Oh, well.
It doesn't matter.
We'll live. Yeah, you did. I heard it.
Okay.
I did.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I was thinking about the people yelling at me all weekend.
I get you.
All right. Here's one, Chris. And I got to say to everyone out there, if you're going to message me, please, for the love of God, look at how you spell my name. Hey, Skraby. Scrabey. My name, it says it on the message.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do this. It doesn't really bother me. It's just like, how?
Sounds like it bothers you.
You're probably right. Should have just left that alone, honestly.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, Skraby, I wanted to see if I could get this in for Padres Pen Pals. You keep saying left field has not lost a game for the Padres, but you can't say that anymore. Gavin Sheets is a mess in left field. Jason Hayward may play good defense, but he can't hit. Brandon Lockridge is a great bench guy. Okay. Not a guy you want out there every day.
Okay.
I like you, dude, but stop saying things that make you look dumb.
Yeah.
You still not worried about left field?
Oh, I was going to say, is there a question in here
yes,
somewhere?
the question. No, I'll go first.
Are we just taking a shot to? We're just taking a shot to tear you apart here.
You still not worried about left field? The answer is okay. I'm getting a little worried about left field. I said until left field start losing games for the Padres, I'm not going to worry. Well, Jason Hayward can't even get in the lineup anymore, and his saving grace was his defense. He can't even get in the lineup because he can't hit. Brandon Lockridge is a bench player, late defensive replacement, pinch runner type guy. He's not an everyday player yet. And Gavin Sheets isn't an outfielder. It was I appreciate him going out there and trying to play the position, but he looked like it was embarrassing for him. And you said something before the show, and I'm going to steal it right now, but this is Chris's line. And you wonder why Rafael Devers doesn't want to play first base, because he might look like that and be the joke of social media.
Yeah.
Am I worried about left field? I'm getting there. And that's why I went to the great lengths I did to identify two players I think the Padres could trade for.
All right.
Because I think it's time to start looking into another direction.
All right. First of all, stop picking on Brandon Lockridge. He's hitting .304 when he plays left field. Okay. So he's doing okay.
But he's not an everyday
Is he the everyday answer? No, he's not. But let's not lump him in with the rest of these guys that are having an awful time of it. Hitting 189, the worst in baseball for left fielders. OPS isn't even at 500 for left fielders.
We're talking Hayward?
No, we're talking the whole left field. Oh, everybody who's been in left field.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah.
All left fielders are hitting 189. Their OPS is below 500. It's easily the worst in baseball for all left fielders. So they have an issue, and I'm sure they know it.
They know it.
And they're going to address it when they can address it. Teams aren't quite yet ready to make deals in the way Tony's brought up Andrew McCutchen a couple of times.
He has.
The Pirates might already be willing to part with somebody knowing that they're kind of out of it.
Yeah.
The Rockies are not an option because they have a bunch of young left fielders that they're not going to be ready to give you.
You need a guy who's going to come in and be ready.
Right. And the Rockies, none of their guys are ready except maybe Jordan Beck, and he's good, so the Rockies are not going to trade him. There's not a lot of options at this moment in the season, but within the next month, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And the Padres are going to address this, and they're going to take care of it. They have to. I'm a little surprised to see them being so willing to let Oscar Gonzalez go, except for the fact he hit 195 with 2 RBIs. So what did he do? He's not going to be a savior, apparently. And on Gavin Sheets, yes, you stole my line, but that's it. Don't put him out there again. He doesn't belong out there. It's not fair to put him out there.
He's doing his best to be a teammate.
That ball, according to StatCast, was 95% to be caught. 95.
Ooh, I didn't know it was that.
Yeah. He made it look like it was 5%.
Yeah.
By the way, he ran around back there, and the poor guy left his glove in the stands.
I think that might be one of the most embarrassing things.
And then had to run back on the field to chase the ball without his glove, which is a very naked feeling. If anybody's ever played softball, baseball, you're so used to running on a diamond with your glove that to not have it feels like you forgot your jock strap.
I couldn't watch. I couldn't watch.
It's totally
I couldn't watch.
So that wasn't on him, though. That's on them for putting him out there. Can't do that anymore.
We have some suggestions for trades in the chat. Keep it for now.
Keep it for now.
But
Skraby's going to answer it all later.
Guys like Jarren Duran and Stowers from Miami are not guys that we're targeting because the Padres do not have most likely the capital to go after that unless you're trading someone who's already on the major league roster.
Honestly, if you're going to say Stowers, if you're going to say Duran, you might as well say Ted Williams. They're not leaving their teams. Stowers is the only good player the Marlins have. They're not trading this guy. Duran, same thing. Please stop it.
Yeah.
And even if they were, the Padres don't have anybody other than Ethan Salas or Leo Dallas DeVries left to trade.
And Ethan Salas is out until like the middle of June, maybe?
Stop asking for people like that.
When I go through my stuff, you're going to see the type of names. I never even really heard of these guys before until
the guys you've come up with.
Yeah,
okay.
Until over the weekend.
All right, I'll look forward to it, but it's still 3 hours away, so stop promoting
I keep teasing it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the next one. You're up first, Chris. I've been thinking a lot about this lately, let me start this over. I've been thinking about this a lot lately, but why do the Padres have Fernando Tatis Jr. leading off? Sure, it's nice to have that first home run, but they clearly need him elsewhere in the lineup. He seems like the only one who is doing any damage at the moment. So why not move him to 3 or 4 in the lineup, Chris?
I would imagine that the Dodger fans felt like Ohtani was struggling over the weekend when they got swept by the Angels, or the team was struggling. It'd be nice to have Ohtani always coming up with 3 men on or 2 men on.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily disagree with this. I personally would rather have a different kind of leadoff hitter. The problem is the Padres don't have one. Arise is not a leadoff hitter because he clogs up the bases. He can't bat first. He just can't. And there's no one else good enough in terms of getting on base to set the table for your offense. So Fernando's the answer, and we're going to have to stick with it. And nobody complains about it when they're winning. So I'm just not going to change it.
All right.
Because I don't have a better option. But you're right. In general, the way it used to be, your best hitters hit 3, 4, 5. That'd be Fernando, Manny, Merrill. But that's when you have Ricky Henderson first, or Tony Gwynn Sr. batting second, getting on base, Alan Wiggins stealing bases. Teams were designed differently. You don't have those kind of players any longer. So you've got to, the only thing you have is Fernando right now.
I love the energy Fernando brings at the top spot. Yesterday, leadoff home run. I mean, those are very exciting things for a team. It didn't translate into anything else yesterday, but I like him in the leadoff spot, but I think there's some point you got to change some stuff up a little bit if it's not working.
Yes, but you don't have to change it up every time they lose 3 games.
No.
And that's what, I think a lot of people want them to do.
All right, next one. Y'all fell for the Manny Machado stat line. We all knew he was going to regress to the mean.
Oh, is this my letter? Did I write this?
He went hitless over the weekend when the Padres needed him. When does he do his hitting? When the game doesn't matter.
Okay.
When the game is already decided.
Nice.
I've had to eat my words about Manny this year, but after a hitless weekend in a series, they needed to win. So, smart guys, what do you got to say about Manny now? We've already said everything.
Yeah, I think I said everything. So
Manny has to be. Manny has to have a little bit more power. He needs to hit some home runs. He needs to be a little bit more consistent in that 3 spot. I don't know what else to say.
We said enough. We'll move on.
Okay.
If that letter writer was listening to the show, I think we broke Manny down pretty good.
Yeah, I think.
And then some.
Yes. Next one. When are we going to acknowledge the lack of power hitting by the Padres? It's alarming how every team hits home runs here, but not our guys. Can you please address this issue Monday? From I need a check mark on Twitter. I do say this. I notice a lot of warning track power for the Padres, but doesn't seem like any of the other teams have trouble hitting the home run at Petco Park. I don't know what it is. Jackson Merrill, when one of his 0 for 4s, hit 3 long fly balls to the fence.
Okay.
And it was just basically warning track power.
Right.
I don't get it. What do you say, Chris?
I say that when they're winning, we all love the Victor Rodriguez
Yes.
idea of hitting line drives and spraying it all over the ballpark. As far as home runs, I already addressed it. Again, asked and answered.
Yeah.
Manny needs to start hitting home runs. The rest of these guys need to just keep doing what they normally do. We're not a big home run hitting team. That wasn't a problem as of Friday morning. Seems to be a problem today.
It does.
So that's
I know.
that.
Friday we closed out the show. We're on a
But
high.
I addressed the home runs. I addressed it. They got to start hitting them with some guys on base. That will change the look of the home run quickly.
If you're a Padres pen paler and you just heard your question, go back to the first half hour of the show. We definitely broke it down pretty good.
All of that.
So,
Daily Gambit's coming up.
Yes, it is.
We'll take our first
That's the first hour already.
I know. We'll take our first break away from talking about the Padres, but we'll get back more into them. Also coming up in hour number 2, the Mets and their fans and their front office and their team is finding out what we already knew about Juan Soto. Stick around for that.
It's a Chris tease right there.
Yeah, I get a chance to rip on Juan Soto. You don't want to miss that one. And away we go with hour number 2. Welcome back into it. Gwynn and Chris. 97.3 The Fan. Reselling. Tony Gwynn Jr. idle today. Matt Skraby alongside in the Odyssey Palace Studios. Padres swept by the Mariners, unceremoniously, I might add. And it wasn't like they got swept by Randy Johnson, Mark Langston, and...
We're naming old Mariners, huh?
Yeah. Gaylord Perry, 300-game winner.
Yes, I'm aware.
We were swept by, I'll be honest with you, I didn't even recognize the kid on Friday night. Logan Evans, was it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Remember those split righty stats? Didn't make a difference.
Didn't work out. Who pitched Saturday? I don't even remember that guy either.
Was it Wu?
No, Wu was yesterday. At least I've heard of him. The Mariners have major problems. Like their top 4 starters are all injured right now.
They didn't see Logan Gilmore or Bryce Miller.
Well, they're both hurt.
I know,
right? But they didn't look like they needed them. Anyway, it was a bad weekend, but try to keep it in a little perspective. Tigers, Mets, Dodgers, Phillies, Padres, in that order, still have the 5 best records in baseball. They're the only 5 that have a 600 winning percentage or better. That's it. Those 5. So, we're not happy, but could be worse. A lot worse, Skrabe. A lot worse.
It definitely
going to Toronto tomorrow. The Jays are 22-24. It's all right. See Chris Bassett, a right-hander, tomorrow for Toronto. Left field is a problem, but so is Manny not hitting home runs. I don't think they're equal. I think they're completely separate from each other, but both need to be addressed.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we discovered, I think, in the first hour of the program. We'll get back to more of the Padres, and I'll also let you in on what is happening in New York right now with the top diva in baseball. But first, it is a time for a daily gambit.
Do you like money?
I think about money a lot.
Do you like money without doing anything?
Winning.
Do you want to make money while watching sports?
I think Washington is immortal luck.
Washington! Woohoo! If you answered yes, this is your segment. Just don't blame us when you lose.
Nothing is ever your fault.
It's your game. Take it.
Gwynn and Chris go through the top bets of the day in The Daily Gambit on 97.3 The Fan.
Daily Gambit is our daily sports betting segment here on Gwynn and Chris. Please, everybody. What that was.
Sounds like me opening the show with kicking her off. Yeah.
Gamble responsibly. I'm seeing on the chat, and then I'm going to move on. Jake Cronenworth needs to go to left field. Looked it up. Never played outfield his entire career. You're not just going to put a guy in left field just because.
And then what? Who plays second base? Iglesias?
Yeah.
What's he done? And as a matter of fact, they've already put Iglesias in left field, and he looked okay out there. So if that's the answer, then just put Iglesias in left field.
About that.
Why weaken 2 positions? Yeah.
I wish I didn't make that comment about left field on Friday because it all unraveled on me over the weekend.
Yeah.
All right. Daily Gambit. What bets we made on Friday. Padres Mariners over under 9 runs. We both went under, which was the correct choice because it was 5-1 Mariners, so 6 total. Dodgers minus 1.5 on the run line over the Angels. We both chose the Dodgers. The Angels won 6-2.
How about a sweep by the Halos?
Yeah, they're playing good baseball right now.
Well, they're not, but the Dodgers are beatable. That's the thing that's interesting to me. And you can look at it as a lost opportunity because we should be in first place right now. Or you can tell yourself, hey, the Dodgers are hurting. They have no pitching. We talked about how bad the bottom of the Padre order is. The Dodgers, by the way, DFA'd Chris Taylor yesterday. He's gone. Austin Barnes is long gone. Michael Conforto still can't hit his way out of a paper bag. They're counting on a youngster right now, Dalton Rushing, who's a catcher who they're trying to put out in the outfield. So, hey, look, we're not the only team with these issues at the moment.
That's true.
And a team like the Dodgers, who nobody thought would ever have an issue, actually has just as many as we have. We're just not paying much attention or as much attention to them.
We're all locked in our issues.
Yes.
All right, Yankees -1.5 against the Mets on Friday night. You chose Mets, I chose Yankees, and the Yankees won 6-2.
Okay.
Who had more strikeouts, Chris Sale or Garrett Crochet? We both went Crochet, and they both had 8 strikeouts, so we pushed there.
Push.
Knicks -2.5. You got the we both chose the Knicks, and then Knicks. Where was Joe Mazzulla's wisdom in this game? Because the Knicks beat them 119-81. That is embarrassing.
I would say it's pretty embarrassing in your last game as a defending NBA champion.
When all you do is preach about how great you are, you can't even put up 85 points?
Well, you lost by 38 points to save your season. 38 points. Now, I know Jason Tatum didn't play, so there is a fair excuse, but there's no excuse for losing 38 when you're trying to defend your championship. Agreed.
All right.
But I enjoyed it.
Me too.
Yeah,
of course.
It was fun to watch that.
Who scored more, Derek White or Karl Anthony Towns? You went Cat. I went Derek White.
Oh, yeah.
Derek White had 8. Cat had 21. So you
Derek
win that
did not
one.
have it going that
The
night.
Florida Panthers -1.5 on the puck line against Toronto. We both chose the Panthers, and the Maple Leafs won 2-0. So we were wrong on that one. Paige Beckers in her debut for the WNBA. Over under 14.5 points. Both of us went under. Both of us were correct. She had 10 points.
Yeah, 10. She'll go again tonight.
Yes.
Is that it?
That's it.
All right. For the week, you won. You were 19-17. I was 17-19.
Okay.
So between the two of us, we were
500.
500, which is losing in the gambling world because remember, you have to bet more than you win.
Yep, that's
So
true.
we would have lost.
It's true.
All right, here we go for tonight. WNBA. I mean, we got no NBA, no NHL tonight. Both playoffs are taking a night off, so there's no action there. We got Seattle Storm -3.5 at Dallas. Dallas, of course, is where Paige Beckers is. Both of these teams lost their opening game. Seattle's favored by 3.5 on the road. Dallas, with a bunch of young players, still going to be finding its way. I'll take Seattle.
Okay.
On the road? How about you?
Yeah, I'm going to take Seattle.
Seattle. Speaking of Paige Beckers, 10 points, as you mentioned, in her first appearance. She shot, I think, 3 for 10 from the field.
Yeah.
Kind of a mediocre debut, but she's got her debut out of the way. Tonight, it's 13.5 points over under, Skraby, for Beckers. She get the 14 tonight.
I'll go over.
I'm going over as well. Hopefully she'll relax, settle in. I want to get into the Angel Reese, Caitlyn Clark thing a bit later.
We got a spot at 420.
Yeah, if you watch the any WNBA, unfortunately, those two and their little feud that they refuse to acknowledge is bigger than the sport.
I can't wait to talk to you about it because I have no idea what Caitlyn Clark did wrong.
Okay, we'll talk about it. San Francisco Giants, Kansas City Royals tonight. 7.5 runs by the Bay. Robbie Ray, Chris Bubich, thank you. What'd I say?
Bubik?
Yeah, I missed it badly. I'm going to say under. These are two good pitchers, two good lefties. Giants, by the way, are living right. Wilmer Flores, Friday night.
Oh, man.
3 home runs, 8 RBIs. The next night, no score, bottom of the 11th. Wilmer Flores walks with the bases loaded.
Yeah.
And then yesterday, they got 2 in the 8th to pull that game out.
Yeah.
Giants are, they're having one of those kind of years, and they're tied with the Padres now in terms of, both are a game back of the Dodgers. So Giants have it going. You're going over.
Yeah.
So some runs will be scored tonight there.
I think so.
Here's our nightly gimme. Philadelphia Phillies at Colorado. How far can Kyle Schwarber hit one there? Phillies are favored by 1.5. I will not bet on the Rockies once all season. There's no need to.
I'll go with the Phillies too.
Rockies are 8-38. Although, talk about a blind squirrel. They scored 14 runs on Saturday night and beat the Diamondbacks. Then they went right back and got shut out again yesterday. It's crazy. Which game will score more runs? Angels at A's or D-backs at Dodgers? Which game scores more runs? Skraby? Angels at
the Dodgers
A's
have been putting up a ton of runs, but they've also been giving up. I'm going to go D-backs and Dodgers.
More runs. Brandon Pfaadt is pitching for Arizona. Landon Kanak for the Dodgers. I'm going to say the Arizona LA too. Yeah, Dodgers can't pitch at all right now. Kodai Senga having a great year.
Yep.
5.5 Ks at Boston. He's pitching in Boston.
From Boston.
Or from Boston. Yeah, that's a really annoying
My cousin
commercial.
from Boston.
Yeah, it's not the most annoying commercial we have, but it's in the running. And don't get me started with which one is. Everybody knows. Yeah, I know. I know. Kodai Senga, 5.5 Ks tonight at Boston. What is Senga? He's having a great year.
He's having an amazing year.
It doesn't seem like every time I look up, he's
I'm going to go over.
Blowing him away. He's got a what?
Yeah, he's been incredible this year.
He's got a 1.02 ERA?
Yeah, he's been really good.
1.02?
Yeah, he's been really good.
He's given up 1 homer all year.
How many starts?
In 8 starts.
Yeah, he's been really
good.
He's
given up 1 homer. All right, I'll say under after all of that. Tonight's the night. Red Sox get him. You're saying over?
Yeah.
And finally, PCA. This is another guy. You dismissed him as, just who's that?
This was a really stupid thing.
Really stupid thing.
This was really stupid.
PCA has been
Pete Crow Armstrong, who doesn't
unbelievable.
Know. He really has.
There isn't a game that goes by that he doesn't get 3 home runs and 10 RBIs.
Can I tell everyone why I said that? It's because Wandy Peralta gives up 1 home run. And everybody's acting like he was Babe Ruth, and then he became Babe Ruth.
Pete Crow Armstrong might be the MVP of the National League now.
It's crazy. He's
crazy. He might be ahead of Fernando and Alonso.
It's one of those things I should have just kept my mouth shut.
1.5 total bases tonight for him. I mean, it's either 2 singles or a double or more.
A homer.
Yeah. What do you got? Over, under?
I got to go over.
He's been hot. All right. I say he's got to have 1 cool, but it's at the Marlins. The Marlins aren't going to get anybody out.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll say under anyway.
Oh.
I mean, 2 hits is hard to bet for. All right, we can take a break. When we come back, look, I think everybody out there knows how I feel about Juan Soto.
You love him.
And Tony's not here to defend him, which is unfair. But too bad. Because Juan Soto is doing exactly what I knew he would do in New York. And we'll talk about it when we come back after traffic on Gwynn and Chris.
Traffic will be at the end.
Okay. brought to you by our friends at Staples. You know your local Staples has hot deals and super low prices throughout the store on everything for your business. All right, now at Staples, save up to $250. Wow. Off your print order. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details. All of this ends on June 14th, so get it done. Plus, save even more with the Easy Rewards program at Staples. We have mentioned that the Baltimore Orioles fired their manager.
Same thing I always say. What was the reason to start the season?
What do you mean?
If you're just going to fire him.
Well, they weren't expecting to be 15-28. They were expecting to be 28-15.
This has been the most overrated team in baseball the last 3 seasons.
Disagree.
They didn't win a playoff game.
They didn't do that, but both seasons they were either division champs or right close to it.
But if we say, hey,
I don't think that's
Orioles
the most
fans,
disappointing thing in baseball.
You came in second in the AL East. But you didn't win a playoff game.
Okay. They're easily the most disappointing this year. That I will give you. Here's something that I don't find to be surprising at all. As a matter of fact, I think I could have written this story before the season started and just filed it away in a drawer somewhere and then had it ready to pull out by about mid-May, which is where we are now. Because the Mets apparently are a little bit tired of Juan Soto's act already. A couple of different things to discuss. Last night, the game is, and this is so Soto, I can't even tell you. The game is 2-2 with the Yankees. They end up losing this game, I think, 6-2. Bellinger had a grand slam or something, 8-2. But it was 2-2 when he batted in the 8th inning. He hits a hard ground ball up the middle. And you can see him kind of easing his way out of the batter's box because I think he thought he had a base hit. Only DJ LeMahieu makes a beautiful dive, backhand, knocks the ball down. As soon as Soto sees that, you can see him slow up even more, as if to say,
whoops.
Oh, man, this guy got it.
Can't get there.
I can't get there now. And when he got about halfway up the line, you can see him speed up, but now he's easily thrown out.
Yeah.
And this is in a 2-2 tie. If he busted out of the box, he's very likely safe. This was a hell of a play by DJ LeMahieu, but it only becomes a great play because Juan Soto was dogging it the way Juan Soto does. But that's not the worst part. Apparently, why don't you read the rest of it? I'll let you go because you told me about it earlier.
Oh, sorry.
Give me. I'll do it then.
I have it
right.
I
here.
have it. Oh,
no,
you
I
got
have
it right there. Go for it.
Yeah, I have it. I just thought you had it. Soto last night was supposed to be mic'd up by ESPN in the 2nd inning. He changed his mind minutes before the game. I'm even going to give him this one. I think that mic'd up during the game is kind of annoying. And it's always Soto. It's always Fernando. I get it why these guys are like, I've had it. I've done it. I've been there, done that. And as Soto explained later, he's tired of answering why did he go to the Mets and, how he's, enjoying, how hard it is to return to the Bronx. It's old. He's been answering it all weekend. So that I didn't mind. But this I do, although I'm not surprised. After the game, Juan Soto was doing an interview with a pool of reporters down in the locker room. He walked toward the door. The reporters said, "Where are you going?" He said, "Hang on." Or he told the Mets official to tell the group that he'd be back momentarily. He was going out to see family members. He never came back. I don't care if you're Juan Soto, and I don't care if you're the 19th clubhouse guy. That's just flat out rude.
You tell people you're coming back?
Flat out rude.
Come back.
But it's also rude to keep 25 people waiting for 10, 15 minutes on a semi-daily basis while you're late for the bus, which we heard from people was pretty consistent when he was here.
Yeah.
It tells me what kind of person you are if you don't care what other people might be thinking. There's also a lot of talk that he's been taking private jets away from his teammates to games.
Which
that's been refuted.
Doused by Jeff Passan.
It's been doused. The point is somebody's even bringing it up.
Yeah.
And with Juan Soto, you would almost believe it. He is a diva. Is that bad? Not always. Beyonce, Jennifer Lopez, right? Mariah Carey. I don't know how many more I can name. Yeah. Kardashian, whatever.
Barry Manilow.
Okay, Barry Manilow. They're all divas. They all think they're
Chris's
great.
Favorite diva.
Yeah, right. They all think they're great. They all think they're better than the rest of us. That's why they're called divas.
Mm-hmm.
So it's okay that you're a diva. But I think the Mets are starting to realize maybe this isn't everything that they thought it was going to be. They should have. All they had to do is call me. I would have told them.
Usually when you spend $700 million on some sort of asset for your business, you kind of do your research on that asset. Like this, to me, is exactly what the Mets deserve for just breaking the bank and giving $70 million a year to a guy who, from people within the Mets, now say that they're not happy with his excitement level over playing for the Mets.
Yes, the quote in the paper, in the story, is Mets front office people saying, quote, they're concerned with Soto's lack of enthusiasm. They said the only time he seemed sparked up at all this weekend was when Aaron Judge and Aaron Boone walked by.
Yeah.
And he had a conversation with those guys, his former teammate and manager.
You know what I say to Juan Soto? Get over it.
He's never going to. This is what he is. This is what he is, and it's okay. It's not for me.
It's not for me
Like,
either.
I don't care for it. And that's why you ask, if you did, why didn't Chris like Juan Soto in San Diego? I didn't dislike him because of production. I know a lot of you thought he should have hit a home run every time up, but he produced.
He wasn't amazing.
He could, but
he was not Juan Soto that we were sold.
He wasn't Juan Soto-esque.
Yes.
But it's his attitude that I can't deal with, and I never will like it. Welcome to it, New York Mets.
I'm not trying to just dump out all the dirty.
You got another minute? Go ahead.
Baggage,
throw it out there.
I mean, we asked for Juan Soto to come on the show for Friar Friday the entire season, and we never got a sniff at Juan Soto. And then one time, I was in the clubhouse trying to get some audio from Xander Bogaerts. And yeah, sure, I was standing a little bit in front of Juan Soto's locker, but he sat down in his little lazy boy chair and he ran into me like that, like to get me to move. It wasn't, hey, you're in my locker, can you move? I know this is a very personal thing to me, but I still hold this in my heart because he hit me not once with the chair. He hit me twice with the chair, Chris, because I was in the vicinity of his locker. That's all I got on that.
All right.
But no, it's something that I think people. I don't think you can get away with this stuff anymore and not have people look sideways at you. Meaning, I don't think you can just be a diva and play sports anymore because there's so many people out there that are able to separate sports stars from, real life. All of us in the real life face a lot more difficult things on a day-to-day basis than Juan Soto not wanting to do media. Just do it.
8 home runs, 20 RBIs, 5 steals, 246. That's what the Mets have got so far. They also are in first place. So, there's that.
Yeah, it just a guy like Juan Soto takes away from everybody else on the team because when the media goes in there, now they're going to go ask every single player about these articles, about if he takes private planes, if he's angry, if he doesn't want to be there. When you bring in a player like that, you bring in the orbit that comes with it, and all of this comes with it.
It can work, to me, if the person's a decent human being. I don't find Juan Soto to be that. We'll take a break. Bottom of the hour. When we come back,
that's all we'll say.
Scott Miller joins us from the New York Times, and you know what a great baseball writer is. He's got a new book out about managing in the big leagues. Bruce Bochy is featured, as are many others. And Scott's going to join us to talk some baseball and about a book that you should have when we come back on Gwynn and Chris. Hi, welcome back. 3:34 is the time. Scott Miller joining us shortly. 2023 Juan Soto had a 930 OPS. He was 6th in the MVP balloting. 35 homers, 109 RBIs. But according to Matt Skraby, he stunk. Would you like to change your opinion on that, sir?
I will change it to this. He had a very, very, very good season in a year where the Padres didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah, you can change it to that. And I would tell you that there was a lot of unsaid stuff about that 2023 team as to why it didn't get where they thought it could go.
Yeah.
And we'll never know what that stuff was exactly. But I will guess, and I think it's a rather intelligent guess, that Juan Soto and his diva ways were at the heart of a lot of it.
Now,
I'm not blaming him. I'm saying that he was probably part of it. You have to be a certain way to accept a person who acts the way Juan Soto does, and I don't think everybody can handle it.
Now,
nor should they have to.
No, but here's something that
with the Yankees. Sorry, with the Yankees, it almost feels like you should be a diva. Like that just seems like a diva team.
Even though Aaron Judge doesn't seem like a diva,
he isn't. But I think for some reason the Yankees, it seems that's kind of the way we expect it. Not here, we didn't.
Some people are connecting now. Jackson Merrill obviously did not play in 2023, but some people are connecting this quote from his contract extension press conference as a dig at Juan Soto.
Many did.
And I know there's contracts out there that are beyond absurd. They're super amounts of money, but having a relationship with a real human being and a real team like I have here, you can't just sign for $700 million and want everything to be perfect,
I mean, he names the number.
Yeah.
The only thing
there's only one $700 million contract he could be referring to.
Well, there's two.
Oh,
Ohtani and then. Oh. But I can't see. They didn't even play together. I cannot see Juan Soto or Jackson Merrill taking a shot at Juan Soto.
I don't think he was.
Although he did say $700 million.
I don't think he was taking a shot at anybody. I just think he was trying to make a point. Honestly, he was making a point.
And it's a good point.
Because there's a lot of people that criticize Jackson Merrill for not taking enough money when he signed here. So he was just saying, hey, it wasn't important to me.
That is true.
So I don't think he was trying to take a dig at anybody. I think people are just making something up that's probably not there. All right, Scott Miller coming up. Traffic.
A bunch of
I think I have it. Let's try some traffic.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is brought to you by the Grilling Store at Hillcrest Ace Hardware at 10th and University. Already plenty of trouble spots on our roads this afternoon. Southbound side of the 805 near Balboa, there's a stalled car on the center divide and somebody standing outside of it, so please take it extra carefully there. Also, southbound 5 before the 15, accident involving a couple cars. That's over to the right shoulder. Got a collision on westbound 8 before Mission Gorge Road. 2 right lanes are blocked. Emergency crews on scene. Crash on eastbound 8, clearing right before El Cajon Boulevard in the North County. Dealing with a collision on westbound 78 past El Camino Real. Tow truck is on scene. Looks like that's got the right lane blocked. And northbound 15 past Deer Springs Road. There is a collision that's partially in the slow lane. Traffic is brought to you by the Grilling Store at Hillcrest Ace Hardware. Purchase a grill this week and your first cookout is free with 12 burgers and 12 francs courtesy of Omaha Steaks. That's the Grilling Store at Hillcrest Ace Hardware at 10th and University. I'm Kelly Danick with Gwynn Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, Scott Miller will be joining us shortly. We'll track him down in a minute. His book is called Skipper. It's about the obviously the baseball manager. Looking forward to chatting with him about it. Can't wait to read it because Scott is one of my all-time favorite writers. As a matter of fact, we worked together back in the day at the LA Times, and he went on to be a writer because he was good at it. I went on to do something that did not include writing anymore.
Hey, by the way,
because I wasn't as good at it.
Hey, by the way, it's not easy to get to where you are either, Chris.
Didn't say. I just said if I was really good at what I wanted to be good at, I'd still be writing, like Scott Miller is. That's all I'm saying. All right. What happened? Oh, sorry. He's there? We're having trouble with all of our hand signals.
No,
what do you got?
Our number calls out sometimes, and apparently lately, well, that's a good thing. Yes, our number calls out.
Right.
Apparently lately, phones are picking it up as spam. So that's a problem.
And Scott Miller correctly did not want to answer that.
Exactly. So here he is.
Hello, Scott Miller. Always great to talk with you.
Hey, nice to be with you
and
guys.
I'm so...
Yeah.
Go
I
ahead.
was on the other line, and your call came in. It was from an 833 number, and what it said was scam likely.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, there's no reason to. I know you guys are going to call any minute, but I didn't think that was you. And
I don't think that the spam refers to the phone number. I think it refers to the person who dialed the phone.
Oh, so you're saying it's me? I'm scamming him.
You're the spam. You're the spam.
I see.
Hey, Scott, I got to tell you, I am, very proud of you to begin with, because you become such a great writer and big part of the game, baseball. But to have a book out and have it, being published and it's out there and people are saying all these nice things about it. I must tell you, on my bucket list many moons ago was to write a book. Doesn't look like I'm going to get there, at least not at this moment, but you've got there. Congrats on the book coming out, and tell us a little bit about it and where the idea was sprung from, and et cetera.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. And it's called Skipper, Why Baseball Managers Matter and Always Will. And it's all about managing, and it's available now. It came out last Tuesday, May 13th, and it ought to be in your local Barnes and Nobles or wherever you like to buy books, or online you can find it on Amazon or BarnesandNoble.com or Target.com, all the big websites. And it's really been cool just in the few days it's been out to have it out there, because you're right. I mean, some of the early reviews, you work on a project for 2.5, 3 years, and then finally it goes out and you're like, oh my gosh, I hope people like it.
Yeah.
And some of the early reviews have been like so nice, like better than I could have ever expected. And so that's great. And so I'm trying to think. You asked me about where the idea
Well,
came
yeah,
from.
give me the genesis of this book.
Well, I learned what in the book world, like the quote unquote the next project. I learned what that phrase is because, as you guys know, I co-wrote a book with Bob Tewksbury on mental skills in baseball, and that was way back in 2018. So after that, I just went back to my day job for about a year, and after that, my literary agent would check in and he'd pitch me a couple book ideas every now and then, and I'd be like, I don't know about that. I pitched him a couple ideas back. He wasn't overly hot on a couple of them in terms of whether he could sell it to publishers or sell, or it would sell. And so it took a couple of years of kicking things around. But during that time, as you guys talk about it, we talk about it, it's talked about in the media, it's talked about by fans, it's talked about in the industry. And that is, since analytics came into the game, especially over the last 10 years or so.
All right. Who needs a manager anymore?
Exactly. I mean, how many conversations have you been in like that? And I don't know. I mean, I guess, a couple of years in a row, you watch, Brian Snitker, a good old school manager, lead Atlanta to the World Series. You see Bochy win his 4th. You see Dusty Baker, even Dave Roberts, last year. And you think, there's a reason some of these guys win. And anyway, so the book kind of germinated from all these conversations we've been having. And, so I finally, we locked it in about, 2.5, 3 years ago, and I signed a contract and went right to work and probably interviewed 200 or more people, managers, ex-managers, players, ex-players, executives, ex-executives. And, the gist of it starts in the late 70s. Kind of, Chris, covers you and me, kind of our baseball life.
Yeah.
Starts in the late 70s. Looking at managers back then, Earl Weaver, Sparky Anderson, Tom Kelly. I talked to him for a long time. Billy Martin. When managers just, their word was it. They had all the authority.
Yeah.
So it starts then, and it carries forward over the next 50 years to now. and we go through the Moneyball era. I talked to Billy Bean, and he was really good and really interesting about, looking back at the Moneyball era from today's vantage point and some of the good it caused and some of maybe he would have done this or that differently. I talked to Art Howe and some of the managers during that Moneyball era about, all of a sudden out of nowhere, they're getting like blindsided by all these numbers, and all of a sudden the job changed rapidly on them. And then it keeps going up to, present day, where all of a sudden you don't even need to have any experience to manage. I mean, who would have ever thought the Yankees would have hired a manager, Aaron Boone, straight from the ESPN booth, who's never managed before? So the gist of it, that's kind of the arc of the book, and it looks basically at what was the job of manager like back then, what is it like today, how did we get from then to now, and why did we get from then to now?
Love it. Love it. Scott Miller's with us. Skrabe, you got anything over there?
Yeah, I just want to ask you about, since you were able to talk to different managers throughout different decades, like why did it become the sport where managers no longer, it's not whatever they say goes? When did they have to start adjusting to the major leaguer that we have today, where maybe communication is the best way to get to them? Because, sometimes it is Earl Weaver just saying, you go out there right now. That works, but that doesn't work anymore. When do you think that kind of dynamic shifted?
It was probably in the early 2000s, maybe a little bit after that, I'm going to say. Because it's not only, it's not like this is a diatribe against analytics and, the job of manager is because analytics blew into the game. There are also so many other forces at work. And Matt, you bring up a good point. It's not, not just analytics, but there's been generational change, right? I mean, kids today are different than they were a generation ago, and they were different than they were when we were kids. And their parents have raised their kids differently. And Bruce Bochy, I spent a long time with him for the book, and I asked him because he kind of covers both, right? When he first started, the manager had all the power. Now it isn't so much. And he said that that is the biggest change, Matt. Exactly what you just said right there. He said, when I first started, it used to be you told the player what to do, and that was good enough. And now, you don't just tell a player what to do.
You better back it up.
You give him an explanation and tell him why, whether it's for his own good, something the team thinks is going to help him, or something that's going to help the team. But I also think playing within all of this, aside from the generational change, as you guys know, travel ball became such a big thing. I don't know, around 2000 or whatever year it was. But, so now these players are coming up to the majors today. They all play travel ball, for example. So during that time, they've all got individualized, specialized coaches.
Yeah, right.
And then a lot of them go to special tutors, whatever it is, like Driveline up in Seattle, these baseball academies. So they've got so many ideas in their head by the time they get to the major leagues that's also part of why you need an explanation today.
Yeah. Talking to Scott Miller here on 97.3 The Fan. Just a quick follow-up to that, because we saw a situation recently in Boston with Rafael Devers and how he has said that he does not want to play first base. And it kind of put the manager, the GM, the player at odds. How do you think they handled that situation after having talked to all of these different managers?
Well, it's still a work in progress. I don't think they've handled it well from the beginning. I think a lot of it's the front office, because they've said some things about, well, he's not going to play third base. And then you ask him to play third base, or you can't make any declarative statements in spring training. You need to sit down with the kid and talk to him and list a bunch of options and say, we might need this, we might need this, we really need you on board. But, that's also a good example of how the job of a manager has changed, because the one power the manager has always had over a player is playing time.
Yeah, right. And got the lineup card.
That's right. And you know what? You want to act this way, I'm not going to play you tonight. Now the problem is, and this is where another reason managing has changed, obviously the economics in the game, right? And these contracts. So Devers is what? He's on like a $313 million contract.
Yeah, it's massive. So
what do you think happens if Alex Cora tried to play it like maybe Earl Weaver would back in 1979, and he tells Devers, you know what? you're not in the lineup tonight, and you're out of the lineup for future notice until you become a better teammate.
Yeah.
How do you think that'd go at $313 million?
Honestly, wouldn't Rafael Devers just be like, fine, you guys still have to pay me?
I don't know what he would do.
Well, he would be, but it's not just that. What there'd be, the front office would be down in Alex Cora's office in a second. That's where part of the manager's power has been taken away, because there's no way the front office is with Boston is going to entrust Alex Cora or allow him to make a unilateral decision like that,
right?
Because the front office is going to be like, we got all this money invested in this guy. We've got season ticket holders, we've got suite holders, we've got all these people that want to see him play. We need every dollar we can get because of that contract. So yeah, I mean, you're right. Devers, you never know how players can react. He may just pout and say, fine, I'll take a vacation, but it would never happen today because of what I just said. The front office would never allow that to happen.
Scott Miller, the book is called Skipper, Why Baseball Managers Matter. I think everybody here is going to want to see it because there's a lot of Bochy and a lot of those guys, Bud Black, all these guys that we've come to know. Real quick, we still got 4 minutes. Speaking of skippers, Pete Rose, I got to get your thoughts, Scott, as somebody who's followed baseball as long and as much as you have. What do you? Never mind. I think you think he should be in the Hall of Fame if everything was equal, but maybe I'm wrong. But what do you think is going to happen here over the next 2 or 3 years? Is he going to get in? Are they going to not let him in? Is there going to be more fighting about it? What do you think is going to happen?
I think you're right. All things being equal, meaning he never bet on baseball. Obviously, Pete Rose should have been in the Hall of Fame, and he's a slam dunk. But the fact that he broke the biggest rule in baseball and everybody knew it, I think, first of all, it was a weak decision by Commissioner Manfred. Look, I got to know Pete Rose some. I've talked to him a number of times. I really enjoyed talking to him every time we talked.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He was a great guy to talk to.
Right. But the fact remains what he did, and then he lied about it for 15 years, saying I never bet on baseball. He made his situation worse, in other words, is what he did. And I think he just died, in September, I think. And body's barely cold. I don't know what the rush is to do this. But all of that,
it just hit me too.
And if we're going to change the rules and say a permanent ineligible lifetime suspension ends upon a guy's death, well, I got Shoeless Joe Jackson on the phone for you guys that wants to talk about, that's the rule. Why didn't somebody, 80 years ago deal with me? So, I also think, I spent a lot of years not voting for steroid guys, and I'm a little frustrated because I think the Pete Rose decision lowers the standards in the game. So much of that's going on anyway. And so it's like, you're going to let him, well, that was worse than doing steroids. So, now there's a part of me that wishes, well, if I knew all this was going to happen, that maybe I should have voted for steroid guys. But that said, to your last part of your question, I think he'll be up in 2027, and he's long since passed the writer's ballot. We're not going to have a chance to vote for him, but he'll be on the Veterans Committee ballot. Now, that's going to be tough. I do not think he's a slam dunk.
Okay.
Because the Veterans Committee is made up of 16 voters, 12 are Hall of Famers, 4 are veteran media members. And I'll tell you something, you got to get 12 out of 16 votes, and that is not easy in that room. And the Hall of Famers, I'm sure there'll be some that, would like to see Pete in, but a lot of those guys are territorial.
Yeah, they don't want them.
They don't want the steroid guys in. They don't want the scoundrels or the cheaters in. So I don't know. We'll see what's going to happen, but I'm not convinced that he's going to get in right away. It may take a while.
I got to say one last thing, Scott Miller, you're our fave, and thanks for doing this. While we were doing the interview, this is how savvy I now am on the computer, Skrabe.
What?
I ordered his book, and it's on his way, and I'm getting it delivered tomorrow.
Well, tell everybody where you bought it.
Amazon. I just went on, click. It's already on it. It'll be here tomorrow.
Scott, what's the easiest way to get the book? Is it Amazon?
It's got to be that way, right?
Well, yeah. Unless, some people are bookstore denizens and they love going into their local bookstore.
It is, yeah.
I
just ordered it, man. I can't wait. Tomorrow I'm going to get it.
No, that's
So I'm going on a little.
Hear like Chris says,
Yeah, I'm going on a little trip Wednesday for a couple days, so I wanted to have it along for the ride. So
that's very
look forward to it, Scott.
Nice, and thank you.
All right, buddy. We'll see you soon. Take care.
Sounds good.
Scott Miller, right there. The book is Skipper, and if I can order it on Amazon while we're interviewing him, anybody can do it.
I'm
that's
impressed.
true,
And
right?
you know what? I'm going to reveal to everyone.
I'm
going to reveal to everyone something that Chris has done in the last week that will put you in a really good light. You are now using Google Docs.
I am.
He is using Google Docs.
Showed me how to use it. And now I'm using it.
Simple. It is.
That's the way it goes. If you love Mediterranean food, try Spiro's Authentic Mediterranean Cuisine, Coronado, La Jolla, dining, takeout options. Spiro'sCuisine.com, the Chris versus the fans. Coming up next, chance to go to Vegas. 833-288-0973. Gwynn Chris. Tony Gwynn Jr., unfortunately, not with us today. He'll be back on the program tomorrow. Padres are in Toronto. They'll take on the Blue Jays starting tomorrow. Two teams they are, I guess the three they're competing with in the NL West are all in action tonight. The Giants are home to Kansas City. The Dodgers are home to the Diamondbacks. So they're going head-to-head tonight in L.A. Right now, Dodgers on top, but Padres and Giants a game back. Padres in danger of falling into third place in the NL West tonight. If the Giants win, the Padres will wake up tomorrow third best in their own division, and that's because they got swept by the Mariners over the weekend. Sorry, T. Got swept by the Mariners over the weekend. Jackson Merrill won for his last 21. Manny Machado 0 for on the weekend, and the whole team 0 for with runners in scoring position. And almost hard to believe 0 for 21 with runners in scoring position this weekend.
So they were 0 for as many runs as they scored in Colorado that one night.
Yeah, that 21-0 game was a lot of fun, Skrabe, but it seems like a while ago now.
It does. I will say this, though. The last time they got swept at home by a team was the Rays.
Yeah, right.
And guess what they did?
Yeah,
they won
back to work.
8 out of their next 11.
Yeah, no, they've been doing that all year, and I expect they're going to do something similar right now. No, I do. I totally think they'll do that. 8, 14, 19, 20, 21, 22. Last 7 games since the 21-0. Last 7 games, they've scored 22. A 1 run more than that. But that was a whole week's worth of action. So, you go up, you go down. That was a down. And I think the Vedder Cup, you can start engraving the Mariners' name on it for this year.
What are you talking about? They can go up there, they can sweep the Mariners, and then it comes down to exit velocity.
No, they got to outscore them by 14 or more runs. And then if that's tied, it comes down to exit velocity. And the hardest hit ball of the weekend was hit by the Mariners. So they have the tiebreak on that as well.
How did you feel about the Vedder Cup? Because
how did I feel? I told you how I felt. I thought it was a nice, fun thing that they made up.
Yeah, see, I this is what I don't like about it.
Would you rather have a World Series ring or the Vedder Cup?
Obviously, the World Series ring. So I don't like it when people force stuff on me, and I felt like the Vedder Cup was forced on me over the weekend.
It has been. It has been. So
I also don't like it when something that's kind of a grassroots movement like the Vedder Cup becomes official somehow.
It's official. It's a thing.
Before it was
on the TV and on the scoreboard and on hats and everywhere.
They
and
had
on the
little
field.
Replay graphic animations of the Vedder Cup.
I have to be, with all due respect, Eddie, if you're out there, I got to believe that not a single player on either team could give a you-know-what about winning the Vedder Cup. It just got to be the last thing that they care about.
I don't know.
Really? You think the Mariners are going to run out there if they win the 4th game? And then, the next time they play, they win the game, they're going to run out there and carry it back to the dugout over their heads?
We'll see, but no, I don't think it's going to happen. And I hate trashing it because I know it's because it's a local thing.
Right. Let's just take it for what it is. A little fun, and that's all. It's a little fun. That's it. Ball game. That's it. All right, Skrabe. Get me to today's contest, which is called Chris versus the Fans.
If you had one shot, one opportunity to take down the human almanac himself,
howdy do.
Now is your time.
Listen to me, this guy is dangerous.
Now is your opportunity to win a prize.
Well, I hope you know what you're in for.
Chris versus the Fans starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
All right. You will be qualified if you win for a chance to win the grand prize. A trip to see Bruno Mars in Las Vegas, including 2 tickets to a show at Dolby Live at Park MGM on September 3rd, 2-night stay at Park MGM, and a $100 gift card. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Now, the rules. You have to make it through 3 questions. Each question will get more difficult. If you get the question right, you move on. If you get it wrong and Chris gets it right, you are eliminated. But if Chris gets it wrong, then you move on to the next question. Or you win if you're a first-time player. Let us know before you get into it, and you will get that question for free today.
Anybody watching in the chat just saw me go like this.
For a strike?
Yeah, there was a game we're watching, and the guy threw a strike. Sometimes I like doing that. I'm just a weirdo.
No. I actually do this with Lucky. Whenever if we're walking,
you make the call.
If we're walking and Lucky doesn't listen to me, I go, "Stay right one,"
and that gets his attention.
He looks at me like, "Yeah, you're kind of a dork over there."
Go ahead. Let's play some.
All right, let's do that.
We've got Chris versus the fans. Good luck to everybody out there. Let's do some trivia. I'm ready
Give me
to
1
roll.
through 6.
6.
Our guy John in Temecula.
Hey, John, I chose you. How about that? Worked out.
Yeah, I feel chosen, Chris.
You are chosen. You're the chosen one.
Yeah.
You are the chosen one, John. I know you've
played.
played.
Well, I'm very proud of you, Chris, for becoming so cyber savvy recently.
Yeah.
Good
How
for
about
you.
that? Yeah, I got the Google Docs up. I'm ordering books.
Guess
I'm a danger to society now.
You know what? Also, that Chris does that Tony does not do. Chris sets up his own camera in studio too.
All right, there you go.
I have to.
What?
Yeah,
What is going on in the world?
I don't know. I have to get palm fronds and like wave him towards Tony while I'm setting up the camera because he's sweating or something. You know, it's easy to take shots at Tony when he's not here.
I know. We shouldn't do that.
And by the way, people are asking,
It'll
is
get
Tony
back to
okay?
him, by the way.
Tony is okay.
Oh,
he's in
fine.
Toronto.
He's been detained at the border. No, that's not true. It's not true.
All right, John, here we go. Question number 1. Max Fried pitches for what team now?
The New York Yankees.
New York Yankees is correct.
And he's pitching well.
He is
for the New York
pitching
Yankees.
very well
Yeah.
for the Yankees.
It's been good.
Yeah,
All right, here we
he's
go.
a beast.
Question number 2. Ooh, this is tough. But you are a golf guy, John. Rory McIlroy beat which golfer in a playoff to capture his first Masters title?
Just a couple of months ago.
The British guy. Oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank. I can see his face. He's an older British dude, tall, lanky guy. Oh my goodness, playoff bowl. He tried to lose it to him. I keep wanting to
I'm going to give you a couple more seconds.
That's okay. I can't come up with the
Oh
name.
no, I know you know who you're talking about too. Chris?
You know what I really feel bad for John right now?
What, he gave you a compliment and then you're going to
No,
eliminate
he
him?
did. Yeah, he gave me a compliment and he also told me the answer.
Oh, you didn't
I was going to
know.
answer Bryson DeChambeau and I would have been wrong. The answer, thanks to John talking about the British guy, is Justin Rose.
Sorry,
John.
John.
Sorry, John.
Thank you,
I had to do
John.
it to you because that's just what I do. I can't not get it right when I know.
Thanks for calling, John.
But thanks for calling, John. Always great to have you on the show. You're the guy.
Yes, now we're going to go to, I've never seen this name before, Mark. Well,
All right.
I've seen that name before. But
Yes, is that?
I've
me
never-
introduce
What
you.
is this, Mark?
Let me introduce you to that name.
Hello, Mark. How are you?
Mark, what's up?
Good, guys. How are you?
Good to have you on.
Ready to play?
Let's play ball. He's ready.
All right.
He didn't actually say he was, but predicting.
Let's see. Name one of the 2 teams playing in the NBA's Western Conference Finals.
We have not even talked about it today, so come up with that on
Okay,
his own.
so that's the OKC.
OKC is right.
OKC, they looked good yesterday. I'll say that.
And they're playing?
Either that or Denver looked bad.
The Wolves.
T-Wolves. Yeah, we'll talk about the
T-Wolves.
NBA in a little bit, but there's no games tonight or in the NBA or NHL. So
This is going to be a complete
Tonight
side note, but I was looking at the size of real wolves versus dogs over the weekend.
that is a side note.
Did you know that, like, Lucky is 90 pounds? Wolves are like twice his size.
180?
Yeah, they're massive.
Did not know that.
They're massive.
Good to know.
It's very scary.
Yeah, Mark would like to get back to the game.
Sorry, Mark.
I would. Thank you.
Here we go.
I would.
He says I would.
Yeah, let's go. Enough
All right,
of this.
Mark. Now, because of that comment, a tough question.
Yeah, that's right.
Don't
anger the host, Mark.
I don't know if I asked this one, so I'm gonna ask this one instead. What team did Kurt Schilling start his career with?
It's not bad. It's not bad.
Was it?
Played with 4 or 5 teams, Kurt Schilling.
It's a red team,
Okay,
but I'm not
team.
sure which. I'm going to say the Reds.
the Reds.
Going with the Rojos.
Stay there.
This is a tough question. He actually played for more than 4 teams. Everybody remembers him with the Phillies. Everybody remembers him with the Diamondbacks,
Bloody Sock,
and I think the Red Sox. Those are the teams we remember him with. But he was an Oriole at the very beginning. Curt Schilling. He went to the Astros before he became famous. Orioles. Sorry about that,
Mark.
Yeah, I remember the career of Curt Schilling. He was, it's funny. He's just a no-name for like the first 3 years.
Really?
And he got traded twice because he wasn't very good, and then all of a sudden, 20 wins. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That just happens to certain guys.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
They find the touch.
All right, let's go to our next contestant. 1 through 6, Chris.
6.
6. This is the one I do not have a name for. Hello, Brenner?
Yes.
Hey, what's
Brenner?
What Brennan? Okay. How are you
No,
doing, Brennan?
Brenner, you're right.
Oh, Brenner, I'm right. Okay, cool.
No, he's right. Brenner. Yeah. Okay, good.
Brenner, have you ever played before?
I have not.
All right, he's in. First time player. Here we go. Take him right to question 2.
What team? You can do a city or a nickname for this. What team does Angel Reese play for?
Angel Reese.
Played for Chicago.
Chicago is correct.
Good.
Correct.
Good on you, Brenner.
Yes, Chicago Sky.
The Sky.
All right, you're on to question number 3.
We're going to talk about Angel Reese here in a minute.
Chris
and I'm going to
gets this
defend
wrong.
Angel Reese in a minute.
Then you are qualified for the Bruno Mars tickets.
All right, here we go, Brenner. Wrap it up.
From the AJ Castavell newsletter.
Oh, boy. These are impossible.
Manny Machado's hitting streak ended at 14 games over the weekend. Who owns the longest hitting streak ever by a Padres third baseman?
By a Padres third
Who
baseman.
owns the longest hitting streak ever by a Padres third baseman?
Goodness.
Oh man. And it's not Manny? That's what we're
Yes,
we're
yeah.
saying?
Manny's hitting streak ended.
Fair question. No, but he still could be Manny. Like Manny could have done it.
Oh, it's not Manny.
It's not Manny. Okay.
I'll give you
The
that.
only man, it's probably old school, like 80s or 90s. Man.
You can pass.
I think you're in good shape, Brenner. I'm going to take a wild stab here, and I have no clue.
I'll pass.
All right.
Yeah, that's
passing.
probably good.
Good idea.
Don't take a possible wrong answer away. How about Sean Burroughs? I mean, I'm just trying to think of a third baseman that could hit once in a while, but I don't know. Hey, we got a winner in our first time out. Way to go, Brenner. Stick with him there.
It was. Sorry, I need to do that first.
Yeah, give me
It
applause.
was Mr. Gary Sheffield.
Sheffield. Yeah.
18 straight games
Well,
during the 1992 season.
Did win the batting title, so that's that would have been actually a much smarter guess than Sean Burroughs, but I thought it was going to be somebody weird. All right, very good, Brenner. Thanks for playing the game, and you're 1 for 1. Like he's one guy that now can call back and go, "Hey, I'm 1 for 1."
That's true. That's
you know,
true.
everybody calls it back and says they're 1 for 1, but I know they're not.
I appreciate the people that are like, I am 0 for 18.
Exactly.
That's my favorite person.
Very good, Brenner. Stay on the line. Skraby will pick you up here. We got to stick around for another minute or two. You know, the Twins extended to a 13-game win streak over the weekend. Did you see that, Scrape?
I did.
Finally, it ended yesterday, so they did not make it to 14. And it was not met with a lot of enthusiasm out there in the baseball world.
Wasn't talked about at all.
Not much. I think 13 in a row is pretty good. And to give you an idea how good it is, the most the Padres have ever won in a row is 14. That's it. Padres have never won more than that.
When did that happen?
And here's the interesting thing is why I brought it up. It happened in 1999. It happened the season after they went to the World Series and lost to the Yankees, right? In 1999, the Padres won 14 games in a row. And they did that right in the middle of the season from June 18th to July 2nd. In doing that year, they improved their record from 25-39 to 39-39.
Wow.
They were 14 games under 500 when that started.
It's the quickest way to do it.
They won 14 in a row, the all-time record. But as luck would have it that year, the Padres would finish the season 74-88. Ironically, 14 games under 500.
That is ironic.
That is ironic, right?
That is very ironic.
Best players on the 1999 Padres, if you're wondering, according to
Tony Gwynn,
according to Baseball Reference WAR statistics, Tony Gwynn was only the 7th best player on that team.
Wow.
Those who had higher WARs than Tony Gwynn that year. It's kind of a who's who of old Padre names. Some of them you'll know. Some of them you may be going, oh, wow. Number 6, Kilvio Veras.
I've heard that name.
Number 5, pitcher Woody Williams.
Did we have him on?
No. Number 4, Sterling Hitchcock.
We had him on.
Number 3, Andy Ashby. Number 2, Phil Nevin. Number 1 player on the 99 Padres, according to WAR, Reggie Sanders. Ring a bell?
No.
Played mostly with the Reds, but he did have one really good year with the Padres in 1999.
Oh, someone called out Reggie Sanders before you said it.
Zach. Good for them. Way to go,
Reggie
Zach.
Sanders had a solid year.
26 homers that year for Reggie. All right. So anyway, 1999, 14 in a row. And that's just weird that they were 14 games below 500 when that streak started.
That is strange.
Got back to 500 and then finished the season 14 games below 500.
So it doesn't pay to go on a winning streak is what you're
Not
telling
always.
me.
Not always. You would think, right? On
Yeah.
the year that you have the all-time record, you'd have a very good year.
Yeah.
They didn't really have a very good year at all in 1999. It's kind of one of those funny things way baseball works sometimes. Twins, though, have moved way up in the AL Central.
Yes, they have.
As they chase the team with the best record in baseball right now, the Detroit Tigers. That's right. The Tigers, who opened the season by getting swept in L.A. by the Dodgers. Tigers are on top. All right, we can take a break now, Skraby.
Okay.
When we come back, who was right, who was wrong? Caitlyn Clark or Angel Reese? If you follow at all basketball,
you saw this.
That was the biggest story of the weekend.
Yes.
We're in on it when Gwynn and Chris returns.
From the
All right, welcome back. Congrats to Brenner out there. First-time player, first-time winner. All right, the NBA playoffs were this weekend. They decided, like, the Knicks are going to the thing, and the Pacers are in, and Oklahoma City qualified, and, it's a big deal.
The T-Wolves.
But it's just not a big deal. The only thing that matters in all of basketball this weekend was a foul by Caitlyn Clark against Angel Reese. And they can keep downplaying it and say that they don't have a rivalry, but they do. And I don't believe it's WWE. I don't think they get together beforehand and say, hey, let's do this.
No, I don't.
But I will say it always seems like when they face each other, there's some sort of confrontation during the game. It almost happens every time Caitlyn Clark and Angel Reese play. Ever since, I guess, Caitlyn Clark trash-talked Angel Reese, and then Angel Reese came back and showed her the ring and the finger because LSU was going to beat Iowa to win the championship. They've been linked. And unfortunately, and I say unfortunately, and I underscore the word unfortunately, put it in bold letters. Unfortunately, somehow this has become a bit of a race issue as well. And that is just not where it should be going, but it's there. Last year, when the two of them were running side by side for Rookie of the Year honors, it seemed like it was divided by race as to which player should win. And I just hated that. But it is what it was, or it is what it is. So the other day, once again, they hook up, first matchup of the year. They put it on national TV because they know we all want to see them play each other, and they don't disappoint. Reese goes up. Clark, trying to keep her from getting a rebound or get an easy basket, comes down with the hard foul. Reese is knocked to the ground. She gets up. She postures as if she wants to go back at Clark. Aaliyah Boston, Clark's teammate, gets in there. And that's pretty much where it ends. Although there is now people saying that Angel Reese was the target of a lot of racial taunts from the Indiana crowd once this happened. And the WNBA is looking into that as well. Not only that, there's a lot of people that work at ESPN now. I think Monica McNutt is one. She's taking a lot of heat for some of her comments about the fact about this foul. I mean, everybody's got an opinion on it, and if you don't agree with somebody else, then you take heat for it. Bottom line is this. I wish that we could somehow keep it from being racial. I don't know what we can do. I don't know why it has to be this way. Thought we were kind of beyond that. I wish they could just be two players on separate teams that have a good rivalry. Caitlyn Clark is a cheap shot artist. In this particular play, she claims complete total innocence, which is nice, except for the fact that it was a hard foul. It was fairly unnecessary, and a little shove at the end of it, which knocked her down, was not called for. And Angel Reese's response was very punkish and didn't need to be the way she responded. So I think both of them are wrong.
I think there's one word that I've been seeing on social media that I think needs to be removed from this conversation, and that word is thug in regards to Angel Reese. I do not believe that Angel Reese is a thug. I do not believe that this rivalry that they have is as strong as the media makes it. I've been watching this play all weekend long.
Okay.
All I see is someone trying not to allow someone to score an easy basket.
Okay.
And I have no problem with the foul, no problem with the flagrant, but
wait a minute. Whoa. If you have no problem with the flagrant, you're admitting it's a flagrant foul, which in just by definition is a cheap shot, which is what I said it was.
Well, okay. So
you can't have both.
All right. Hold on. I was actually going to ask you, is the flagrant foul because she had such a clear path to the basket?
No.
So they're calling it a flagrant foul because of the amount of energy
force that was used.
Force.
Yes.
Well, I think that's ridiculous too.
Okay, so you think
Angel
it's a bad,
Reese is
so then you think it's a bad call, and you think Angel Reese is completely innocent here.
It's a foul. It's a foul.
That's all.
100% foul. Now, Angel Reese can take it however she wants. I don't think there's any problem with Angel Reese getting up and getting into Caitlyn Clark's face, but
you don't see her shove her down on the ground on the court. You don't see that part of it. You just think
Clark
it's a foul.
Is smaller than her.
A foul is somebody that takes their arm, comes across, and tries to slap the ball away and gets arm, and that's a foul.
I wish we could show it on the YouTube.
You can't shove her down on the court.
I wish we could show it on the YouTube.
That's a flagrant foul, which is what was called.
We can't show it on the YouTube.
The notion that Caitlyn Clark is completely innocent here is ludicrous.
I didn't say she was innocent. I didn't
pretty
say
much
anything.
what you said.
I'm watching this on loop, Chris. Foul, and then Angel Reese does this little like, oh, I'm going to get my hands stuck. I think there was acting on both sides.
Okay.
This is a non-starter for me. Non-starter.
Well, it's not a non-starter because it's the big thing in sports.
That's what people love to do now. People love to be like, oh, it's because it's a race-related issue.
Yeah. Well,
how did that happen? They're just playing basketball.
I don't get that part either, and I wish that could go away, but it won't.
But Caitlyn Clark also needs to, I think this is good for Caitlyn Clark. She needs to let people in the league know, you can't punk me. You can't just do whatever you want. I'm going to fight back.
So one cheap shot deserves another.
I didn't say it was even a cheap shot. It's a hard foul.
This was a cheap shot.
How is that a cheap shot?
They called it a flagrant foul. I end my case. End of case. End of story. End of argument. There's no further argument necessary. They called it a cheap shot. That was the call.
Well, I disagree with their call.
Okay, that you can do. Take a break.
Someone said on the chat they just wanted to force Angel Reese to make free throws.
Yeah, well, Angel Reese, her shot making ability still needs work.
I will say this, Chris.
What?
I like talking about the WNBA in these regards.
I wish we could talk more about the actual game. And I think that's the danger that the league is getting in right now, that they're allowing the Reese Clark thing to be too big, and it's taking away from what would be nice they were promoting, which is the skill of these players.
I agree with that.
Okay.
It's the WNBA. It's not Reese and Clark. It's the WNBA. There's many more players there.
All right. We went over time for the first time in like a week.
Yeah, you've been really good.
We get 20 lashes, and the Big Five is next.
Joseph Musgrove in the building.
Give him a round of applause, everyone.
What's up? It's not a bad setup right here, huh?
No, not at all. Not at all. How you doing, Joe?
I feel great, man. Yeah, really good. Excited.
I heard you say on the stage today, 2 months away from throwing a baseball.
Yeah.
What are those 2 months going to be like for you?
A lot of patience, I've been working really hard, man. Been really diligent with the rehab. The strengthening stuff has all been, right on par. I've kind of hit every checkpoint with ease. And that was something that was told to me early on is like, really give it the time that you need on the front end. You don't throw for 6 months regardless. So, don't try to go out and be a hero and get yourself throwing in 4 months. Just, do all the rehab, hit all the checkpoints, and then, maybe make up some time on the back end, once I'm consistently throwing. So strength feels really good. It's just, getting the shoulder moving again and back in like certain ranges before I start playing catch.
For those who may not know, I don't think it was ever going to be in question whether Joe was going to attack his rehab the way he has already started to attack it. This is one of the most hard-working people I've ever been around. But this is new territory for you. Yeah. I mean, you are a guy who I consider well-educated on anything he's about to walk through.
Yeah.
What was your education like leading up to surgery? I know you must have talked to a billion people. You don't leave stones unturned.
Yeah.
What was that like, getting yourself prepared for this surgery?
Yeah, I got a notebook full of pages of conversations, phone calls, doctor visits. I vetted 3-4 different doctor options. Called everybody I knew that had Tommy John. Called guys that had had it twice, and what the difference was the second time around compared to the first. So.
This is your first, correct?
My first one, yeah. So I feel like I've done, every bit of the homework that I could. I feel like I was as prepared and as, educated on, the process as possible. And now it's just, putting the lessons that I've learned from other people and their experiences, along with the feel and the trust that I have for myself.
We're talking to Joe Musgrove here on 97.3 The Fan. And Joe, last year you called into our show. And
yeah, there we go.
You played a prank on me, and it was a really good prank because my heart stopped a beat for a second, and it still does. But I appreciate you doing that. This is the first time we've actually been able to talk about it.
A little locker room talk. It's all good, baby.
I told him, I told these folks that his eyes almost popped out of his head when Joe got on that phone.
Well, yeah, when I'm told I can't come into the clubhouse, it's a little concerning, considering, I'm not that crazy of a guy, but
no,
anyway.
You're good by us down there. You're
Okay,
welcome
good.
whenever.
All right. I just wanted to ask you about the mental side of things, because it's got to be hard knowing you're coming into the year you're not going to pitch.
Right.
But you still have to keep working. How do you stay in that zone?
I think, first off, it's a little bit of a relief. It's a chance to kind of step back from, the constant mentality and approach of like being on edge and getting ready and prepared, and just the stresses that, any ball player deals with on the day-to-day of like mechanics feeling out of whack, or as spring gets closer, maybe you haven't hit the checkpoints that you want to hit, or things aren't, as consistent as you like it to be. So not having to deal with those stresses has been super nice. I've been able to focus on life a little bit, got engaged, got a new home, made some moves. So it's been really good. And I think, once I had the surgery, I knew what was ahead of me and, how long the road was. And, it took a little while to get to a good headspace, but I feel like I'm in a great spot now. And, I was saying earlier out on the stage, I'm not claiming to be Superman, but I really believe in my ability to heal and, my ability to, to push my body and get it ready. So I'm preparing and shooting for a return in the postseason at some point. And if, we're a month away from that and I realize it's a long shot, I'm completely fine with, sitting out and, preparing for 26. But I keep myself busy, man. I've really tried to be an extension of the coaching staff and, provide, assistance and help and, experience and, things that help these younger guys and, some of our guys that are transitioning to a starting role, help their careers grow. So, keep myself busy and keeping tasks, to have, at my fingertips, things to work on has been a good relief for me.
Joseph Musgrove in the building.
Give him a round of applause, everyone.
It's not a bad setup right here, huh?
No, not at all. Not at all. How you doing, Joe?
I feel great, man. Yeah, really good. Excited.
I heard you say on the stage today, 2 months away from throwing a baseball.
Yeah.
What are those 2 months going to be like for you?
A lot of patience, I've been working really hard, man. Been really diligent with the rehab. The strengthening stuff has all been, right on par. I've kind of hit every checkpoint with ease. And that was something that was told to me early on is like, really give it the time that you need on the front end. You don't throw for 6 months regardless. So, don't try to go out and be a hero and get yourself throwing in 4 months. Just, do all the rehab, hit all the checkpoints, and then, maybe make up some time on the back end, once I'm consistently throwing. So strength feels really good. It's just, getting the shoulder moving again and back in like certain ranges before I start playing catch.
For those who may not know, I don't think it was ever going to be in.
By the way, if you're just wondering, that little minute or so or 30-second little clip there from CBS Sports.
Yeah, Bill Ryder was
Bill Ryder, whatever. We have no idea what they're going to talk about.
No.
That's just sent to us.
Yeah, it's just sent.
But Skraby brought up the fact, so often you and I are talking about something, and then they talk about the exact same thing.
It happens more than you think.
It happens all the time, and that is total, just one of those quirky things.
It is. It's like, really? We were planning on talking about that earlier, but we talked about it here, and then you go and you'd have that thing. Like,
same
everybody
thing.
out there in the car, listen for that. See what we talk about, and then see what the sports minute is, because
That's just coincidence, is all it is. But man, there's not the biggest point of the whole Clark Reese thing is the one we made, not who's right, not who's wrong, not whether it was right or wrong, but if you go to ESPN today, the shows, what are they, morning Get Up and all of those, Fast Talk and whatever. First
I don't
Talk.
even know, honestly.
Okay. The only WNBA
First Take.
The only WNBA highlight that was shown today on ESPN was that play. After a whole weekend of opening, games. And that's just too bad. Because the WNBA is playing some really good basketball. And they're making way too much out of Caitlyn Clark and Angel Reese. But what game did they choose to put on for the national showcase? Of course, that game.
Yeah.
So that they would get this kind of attention. But I really wish the league was getting more attention for what the kids are doing in terms of playing basketball. And they are in danger of oversaturating us with Caitlyn and Angel.
Well, they don't play every night, so.
All right, Skraby, let's go to we had a little traffic here, by any chance?
Yes, we do.
Good. Then the Big Five.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Islands Restaurants. We saw this crash in Mission Valley, westbound 84 Mission Gorge Road. Got the right lane blocked. Also, watch out for a stalled commercial van. Southbound 5 before the 163. It's over to the right shoulder. And getting reports of a possible brush fire near the Mission Gorge Road on-ramp to westbound 52. Big on protein, rich on flavor. The new $10 Islands Restaurants protein bowls are here for a limited time, packed with over 40 grams of protein and stacked with fresh ingredients for the flavors you love, just in a bowl. Find your protein paradise at islandsrestaurants.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's that time of the show when we check on the latest in sports. Only the most important topics and questions are brought to light.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
These news stories will astound and amaze you. The one, the only.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
The Big Five starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
All right. We got a lot of random stuff in the Big Five today. We're going to talk about the Colts have done something to season ticket holders that they are not happy about, which I kind
Season ticket holders are unhappy about?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Also, the UFL, United Football League, is going to, or it has done something that many people think the NFL should adopt. So we'll go through that as well. And I have a dilemma, Chris, and I'm going to ask you about that. But first, this hour at 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Staples. Your local Staples has hot deals and super low prices throughout the store on everything for your business. And right now at Staples, save up to $250 off your print order. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details. Ends 6/14. Plus, save even more with the Easy Rewards program at Staples. All right. Let's get into it with our first topic.
Number 5.
And that's going to be about the Padres, Chris, because I spy with my little eye a tweet. Did you ever play I Spy as a kid? Was I Spy a thing as a kid?
It was, but I didn't get into that particular game.
Oh, were you a punch buggy guy?
Tag
in a car?
Oh, in a car? Oh, no. We did geography a lot.
Ah, okay.
You know the one where you name a city? Like you say, San Diego.
Okay.
And that ends in an O.
Uh-huh.
So the next person has to name a geography place that
played
starts
that, yeah.
with an O.
Okay, I played that before.
Got to go Oregon. And the next guy goes Nevada. Sounds boring, but after 45 minutes to an hour, it gets much more difficult.
Arkansas.
There you go. It doesn't have to be a state. It can be a city.
Oh, okay.
So you have a lot of options.
All right. Well, I saw
Geography.
this. The reason I brought that
There's
up
a strategy to geography, you know. What you try to do is come up with a bunch of cities in a row that end in Y, like New York City,
Kentucky?
Oklahoma
Oh,
City,
that's not
Kentucky. That works. A bunch of answers that end in Y, so that the person you're playing against has to keep coming up with Y answers on their side, and
man.
you start running out of them.
I can't even think of a Y. Yuba City?
Or Yuma, Arizona.
Or Yuma?
Yeah, there's a few. There are answers. Anyway, that's too much about the game geography.
I spied with my little eye a tweet from the San Antonio Missions.
Okay.
And it goes like this. Big League Arms are making a stop in Alamo City. Matt Waldron and Brian Hoeing will be joining the Missions tomorrow on rehab assignments. So it looks like they are getting closer. I know Matt Waldron did some stuff over the weekend. He's working his way back from the oblique strain or pull or whatever it was. Brian Hoeing's been out all year with shoulder inflammation, but it looks like they're coming back. My question for you, Chris, is where does Matt Waldron even fit?
Right now, he doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably just going to have to stay healthy and, stay ready. for his opportunity, which, may or may not come. I mean, with Darvish returning, that's 6 starters. Kolek has obviously done well enough, and I know he lost this weekend. I mean, after all, we can blame the whole weekend on Kolek. He, after all, gave up a hit on the first pitch of the weekend.
He sure did.
And it never got better for the Padres after that. But,
Yeah.
no, I think Kolek's, one of the 6. I think Waldron just gets healthy and takes a shot. I don't think he's necessarily a fit. Now, you're going to ask me about Hoying, though.
Oh, he comes right in.
Well, all right, then who goes out? Who you getting rid of? Who you knocking off this? I know I know what everybody just said out there. Well, it's obvious Peralta. That's not obvious
I didn't
to
even
them.
think about Wandy, but
It's obvious to you because you get worried every time he pitches. But I would think Sean Reynolds is kind of more iffy.
Yeah.
But I'm not positive. Bullpen's been so good.
Brian Hoying's basically long relief.
He's good too. I need him. So I don't know who I get rid of. Probably Sean Reynolds, sundown.
I'm going to the roster just to make sure I'm not missing anyone.
Yeah.
I mean, Alec Jacob has been good, but they've been using him a lot lately.
Right.
They're not going to bring him down. I think you're right, though. It's got to be, well, no. It's either Sean Reynolds in my mind or Wandy Peralta. That's the 2 right there.
Okay.
Maybe.
Number 4.
It's good to know. I mean, you got these 3 guys, Darvish, Waldron, Hoying. They're all good pitchers.
Dominic says Yuki, but Yuki's been really good this year.
He was till yesterday. Yeah, yesterday.
A lot of things happened over the weekend that ruined our narratives.
Right.
There's an update on the Sacramento A's, or as Giants announcer Mike Krukow says, the Oakramento A's. And it's an update on the stadium in Las Vegas from the Las Vegas Review-Journal. Crews are drilling holes that will be filled with reinforcing steel and concrete and serve as the foundation for the 33,000 fan capacity ballpark, according to Steve Hill, the president and CEO of the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority. Now, Chris, I personally have a major dilemma because I think it would be fun to go to a game in Vegas. Like if the Padres go out there, I would consider going out there and watching some Padres.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to give John Fisher any money.
Ever. Yeah.
So is this a situation I just need to get over?
I think you got to hang with them.
No!
Baseball's fun. You're in Las Vegas. Padres are in Las Vegas. Ask Tony for free tickets and you won't give John Fisher anything. But yeah, I don't know what you do. I'm not a fan of not doing something you enjoy because it might be good for another person you don't want to enjoy.
Yeah.
I think that's hurting yourself to try to get back at them, in which case you're ultimately just hurting yourself.
I know, but I'm the guy who's been sitting here for like 3 years railing against John Fisher in this move to Las Vegas. And now that it's happening, I kind of want to go and see a game, but I don't want to give him money.
I know.
Oh, you know what I should do? Here's how I don't give him money. I have Adam sign me up for a press pass.
There you go.
And I'm in.
Go.
That's just ridiculous.
You can see the whole deal.
Are you interested in going to a game there?
I would say yes, but I mean, I'd be interested in seeing a Las Vegas Ace or, Vegas Knights game.
Yeah.
I'd be interested in seeing a Raiders game.
Yeah.
But I've not gone out of my way to do either.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
that's true.
Yeah, I wouldn't go out of my way. I think if I was in Las Vegas for something, there's a game and I had time, then I'd go. That's about it. I would not drive like 6 hours just to experience it.
No, of course not.
Okay.
Number 3.
The Seahawks aren't the only team warning their season ticket holders about repercussions for selling most or all of their tickets to 2025 games. The Colts have told fans that, quote, renewal eligibility may be impacted by excessive reselling.
Yeah.
Stephen Holder of ESPN.com reports that no action will be taken now, but that frequent resellers have been told they are in violation of the team's ticket policy, and more of the same will lead to a different response from them. Quote, our records show that you listed or resold most of your tickets for the 2024 season, and while no action will be taken today, if you were shown to be reselling most of your tickets again this season, you will unfortunately be unable to renew, end quote. The team apparently created a wait list for those who want season tickets last year, and some members may find themselves in a position to buy tickets if this secondary market doesn't cool off this season. So, Chris, are you okay with this rule?
Yes and no. I don't like people trying to tell me what I can and can't do in general. Do you? Do you like somebody telling you this is what you must do? You don't like it. I don't like it. Most people don't like it. However, I understand that a franchise and a team wants to have its fans in the stadium. I get that now. And people going out and selling all their tickets to the opposition's fans or just whoever it might be puts the team in a situation where this happens. Probably happens to the Chargers more than anybody else. You been to a Charger game yet where the Chargers fan base outweighs the opponent?
Only time was that one woman on TV that they keep having her show up.
Right. I mean, you went to the 49er Ram game a few years ago. There was all 49er fans.
All 49er fans.
So I totally get it. So I understand it, but I don't agree with it. That's all I can say, because I don't think you should be able to tell people what they do once they buy their tickets, other than to behave themselves at the game. I think that's fair. But can you put a rule in that says these are not for resale?
Yes, because ultimately it's your product that you are selling.
Well, then put that in there.
Okay. I think they're going to.
Make the rule.
It drives me nuts.
But if you don't have the rule, then you can't complain about it.
It drives me nuts when people act like you're taking away my business. This is not a business. You could resell your tickets. I'm not a fan of reselling most of your tickets. I understand that you want to resell some tickets because it helps recoup the cost, and I'm okay with that. But if you're getting in the game, the business, getting these season tickets just to resell them, that's your business. Not a fan of that whatsoever. Because I was reading an article over the weekend.
So you're telling me that there are people that buy tickets, no intention of ever going 100%. To a game. Okay.
100%. And
so
I
that
was
is
reading
how they make money.
Yes.
Okay.
I was reading over the weekend that there was an A's fan who's really upset with the A's because he bought season tickets to the Oaklamento A's or whatever they're calling them.
Right.
And he's not even able to sell his tickets for even anywhere close to cost. And so he's mad. And someone wrote to him, why did you buy tickets to a full season of the A's if you weren't going to go to the games? Well, I thought this was a good business opportunity. Not a good business opportunity. Yeah. I don't like it.
I mean, if you had season tickets, it'd be fun to go and hang out with the people who also have season tickets. But I imagine that feeling's even going away these days, right? Because every game, your season ticket friend sells their tickets to somebody different.
Yeah, I remember going to the game with my grandpa. The same people were sitting there every single week. We knew each other. We could cheer together. Yeah. Jacob said something really interesting. You need to put that Airbnb tax on the resellers. There you go. If you want to resell, you have to pay a higher tax.
I got an idea.
What?
Tariffs.
Okay. We've already done the tariff thing.
Number 2.
Tariffs, Adam.
A tariff is like a tax, I believe.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
Let's tariff our tickets.
Don't anybody take that comment seriously.
Yes,
please.
We're having fun, people. We're having fun. Because I know right now a few DMs are coming in right now. Oh, Chris making fun of tariffs out there. Does he know what's going on in our country? Does it seem like I've gotten a lot of negative response as of late?
Well, Padres did get swept over the weekend, so we're getting a lot of negativity out there.
Number 2.
The United Football League has introduced something new. The choice for a 1, 2, or 3-point conversion. So from the UFL, this is from them. Right. Quote, a team can opt for a 3-point conversion after a touchdown instead of a traditional field goal. They have 3 scrimmage play options. A 1-point attempt from the 2-yard line.
This is after a touchdown.
After a touchdown.
Yeah, the field goal has nothing to do with this. So don't
confuse
people.
A 1-point attempt from the 2-yard line, they can kick a field goal there if they want.
Or kick an extra point.
Sure.
You're confusing people.
Well, that's how they say it. They say traditional field goal.
Oh, got it. Okay.
A 2-point attempt from the 5-yard line or a 3-point attempt from the 10-yard line.
Yeah.
This means a team down by 8 points can potentially win with a touchdown and a successful 3-point conversion. Right. Some say the NFL should do this. And actually, the video that I saw, the team elected for a 3-point play.
Okay.
The other team had a penalty, so they had to move their 3-point up to the 1 point, and they still get credit for 3 points. So if you have a penalty, anyway, I'm up first. What say you? No. Do not want 3-point plays. Chris?
I think what you should do is from your own 10-yard line, if you can get a 90-yard play, you get a 90-point conversion. And that way, if you're losing by 89 points, you can win the game on that. This is stupid.
This is a UFL thing right
It's
here.
just stupidity.
This is a UFL
Like, really?
thing.
Are you just going to keep, like, so if a team's behind by 8, they can win? Yeah, well, what about if they're behind by 12? You're going to give them a 13-point play? I mean, and look,
This is a
enough.
UFL thing just to get people watching.
This is stupidity.
All right.
Number 1.
By the way, though, if you have it, choose the 3-point play every time. Why would you ever opt for anything different?
Yeah, you're only losing one. Yeah, you're not really. Yeah,
you make it once, you beat the other 2 options combined.
This one may need to wait until the other.
That's not going to happen in the NFL.
Okay, this may need to wait until the other side though, because I came across an incident while I was driving over the weekend, and I needed your help with it.
All right, we'll get to that. Final hour, happy hour, as it were. We'll see how happy we can be on a day that the Padres are coming off a 3-game sweep at the hands of the Mariners. More Gwynn and Chris is ahead.
I mean, I think first you can have that belief when you put the kind of work in that you do, that your body's going to heal right, and just trusting it. You talked about being an extension of the coaching staff. I would guess that that's going to be even more so this year with you not being able to actually do the physical part.
Yeah.
Is there something that you've tried to do this offseason to kind of get you into that mode in terms of being that extension? Because the reality is, although your arm might be useless in 25 this year, your mind's not going to be. And there's still a lot of guys, especially the ones who may be vying for your spot in the rotation, that could lean on you a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's my job to help prepare these guys the best I can. And like guys like Waldron, guys like Randy Vasquez, Johnny Brito, those are guys that are, have really good stuff and are not far away from, being, middle of the rotation to top half, starting pitchers.
Yeah.
So trying to share some things. That's something we talk about all the time in the clubhouse is like, you bring something to the table on the field, every day. That's kind of what brings you here and gets you to this level. But, days that you're not playing as a starting pitcher, that's, a majority of our days. You pitch once every 5 days. So making sure you bring something to the table is, something we always talk about. So even though, like you said, I'm not going to be physically on the field pitching, I got to find a way to contribute. And a lot of that's just been, better communication with the staff. And I'm really excited this year to be able to sit in more of the coaches' meetings and see how they game plan and how they, come about their approach to certain teams. And I feel like when I come back in 26, I'm going to have a whole plethora of knowledge and things that I hadn't experienced before to add into my game. So.
I just have to say this. I play with a lot of guys, and not all of them are going to take as serious as Joe is taking this part serious, which is getting into those coaches' meetings. Coaches are here a lot earlier than the players,
Are they, man?
especially during spring training. So the fact that he's going to be willing to do that, I think that's awesome, man. That's what separates you from a lot of these other guys out there.
Right. We're talking to Joe Musgrove here, Padres pitcher, 97.3 The Fan. And I have to ask from the fan perspective, because Tony, every day on the show, whenever a team in the National League West signs a new big-name player, all of us fans are kind of like, why? And Tony says it doesn't matter. They still have to go out and play the games. Right. When you see that happen, how do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, it's a different perspective as a player. Our job is, our goal doesn't change regardless of whether we add, and that stuff's, out of our control. So you never want to sit here going into an offseason saying, we're going to be fired up if we get this guy and this guy, and not if we don't get this guy. So you look at our team, and a lot of people see all the moves being made and don't see us making moves, and it seems like a mismatch in the division. All these other teams are adding, but you look at our roster, I mean, we spent a lot of money over the last handful of years and committed a lot of guys to be here long term, and the value in having those guys return every year and continue to build that relationship and that growth is every bit as valuable as adding a new free agent. So I think with the progress we made last year, and you guys will never understand how we feel. I'm sure you can see a little bit of it on the field and how we carry ourselves and, the camaraderie and stuff, but you'll never truly understand just how close that group got last year. And although we didn't, achieve the ultimate goal of winning the World Series, we grew a ton as a team. We grew a ton as, a unit. And I'm super excited that we got most of these guys coming back. We got the whole staff coming back, and we can kind of pick up where we left off.
Well, last one for me, because you kind of just hit on it, and I think it's so important. The continuity, right? This is, year maybe 3-4 of this nucleus being together. How much of an impact can that have on a team, having guys who have been in the locker room together for so long?
Yeah, a ton. And, Schulte's big thing is shared experiences. We got guys from all over the league, some guys that are new and have experienced things that most rookies don't. and some guys that have been around 10 plus years that have, you know, been in championship locker rooms and been around the best of the best. So sharing those experiences with each other and helping each other grow along the way, not just, you know, providing, you know, assistance and, you know, coaching, but like sharing experiences and helping guys grow a little bit through, you know, what you've been through is a big thing for us.
Joe Musgrove, ladies and gentlemen, this is a good one we got here, man. Joe, appreciate you, brother.
Thanks so much, Joe.
Pleasure, man.
Quick healings and enjoy the rest of your day,
sir.
man.
You guys enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you very much.
I mean, I think first you can have that belief when you put the kind of work in that you do, that your body's going to heal right, and just trusting it. You talked about being an extension of the coaching staff. I would guess that that's going to be even more so this year with you not being able to actually do the physical part.
Yeah.
Is there something that you've tried to do this offseason to kind of get you into that mode in terms of being that extension? Because the reality is, although your arm might be useless in 25 this year, your mind's not going to be. And there's still a lot of guys, especially the ones who may be vying for your spot in the rotation, that could lean on you a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's my job to help prepare these guys the best I can. And like guys like Waldron, guys like Randy Vasquez, Johnny Brito, you know, those are guys that are, you know, have really good stuff and are not far away from, you know, being, you know, middle of the rotation to top half, you know, starting pitchers.
Yeah.
So trying to share some things. And that's something we talk about all the time in the clubhouse is like, you know, you bring something to the table on the field, you know, every day. That's kind of what brings you here and gets you to this level. But, you know, days that you're not playing as a starting pitcher.
Heading into the happy hour, and pretty happy to be here. Gwynn and Chris for a Monday. No Tony today. Idle. He'll be back tomorrow. But I got to share something from Tony with you in a moment. Happy hour brought to you by GL Pools, swimming pool experts. They are trusted by thousands of you San Diegans out there since 2006. The Padres looking great this season, but is your pool? Call GL Pools. Mention the word radio for a free month of pool service. Don't let that go by without paying attention to what I just said. You call GL Pools. You're interested in bringing somebody out to take care of your pool because, you know, maybe you're not happy with the service you have.
Yes.
Maybe
you're tired of doing it yourself.
Or maybe you just moved in to a new neighborhood and you need a new pool person, GL Pool. So you call them and you mention the word radio. You just got a free month of service.
Mm-hmm.
So don't forget about that. GL Pools. Thank you, guys. Our happy hour. Earlier in the show, we talked plenty of Padres. If you want to hear our breakdown of why they lost 3 straight or how, you know, what's the problem is, I think to quickly recap in order, it is you got to get a hit with a runner in scoring position, which they did not do. They went 0 for 21. If they're not going to do that, they got to start hitting some crooked number home runs. And the guy that needs to start doing a little more in that category is Manny. Pretty much what we came up with. Gavin Sheets isn't the answer in left field. Going to need to address that. I'm sure they're aware of it. There isn't a lot more other than the fact that, you know, the timing was okay because the Dodgers also were swept.
Exactly. So Padres kind of got away with one.
You're up to date. Yeah. It wasn't a good
If they
weekend,
didn't
though.
notice that Gavin Sheets wasn't the left fielder of the future, they should tell him to go grab his glove out of the stands. Yes. That was tough.
That was a tough play to watch. And he tried really hard, but he honestly looked honestly, you know what they ought to do? If they had a home game today, what I think would have been funny, because I've seen baseball teams do this to other players before. They're not home, so you can't do it. It wouldn't be funny anymore. But had they been home today, I think somebody could have gone out to the left field wall and did a little tape outline of where he smashed into the wall.
Oh,
kind of made light of it.
Yeah, and
that would have been funny.
Should make light of it.
You should, but you can't laugh if you're the Padres. You've got to find somebody who can hit. It plays left field, and Gavin Sheets is not that guy.
They're laughing so that they don't cry.
There's a 95% chance that ball was caught. I don't know what the percent chance was that he would face plant into the fence and drop his glove over. I felt bad for him also.
I did too.
All right. Yeah.
Like
you said, it only hurts when you laugh. So
yeah,
we'll
when he had no glove, I was like, oh my gosh, what are we doing?
Running without a glove is, I'll be honest with you, it's like running out there naked, people.
That was like my
It's
realization.
such a weird thing if you run out on a field naked. Well, I mean,
yeah,
ran out
I
of
was
field
gonna
with
say,
no.
that would
I
be
said the
really
wrong thing.
weird.
Yeah, ran out of field with no glove.
That was my realization of, hey, bro, I think it's time to rethink your left field isn't killing the Padres thing because yesterday was bad.
I told Braden this. He found it interesting, so I'll pass it along to you. Because we're just talking about how weird it feels to run out onto a baseball field and not have your glove. That used to always be the way it was back, and I mean way back, Skraby, even before you could see turn back the clock thing. The players on teams used to just share gloves. So the second baseman on one team used the same glove as the second baseman on the other team.
So Gums McGee would give it up to
Gums would just give it up to the next guy, but they wouldn't bring it off the field with them. They would just leave it there.
Just set it down.
The other guy'd run out and pick it up, and he'd play defense.
That's crazy.
Then they finally started going a little more personalization, where you had your own glove.
Mm-hmm.
They still didn't bring it back with them to the dugout. They just left it out on the field. Glove just sat out there in short right field and waited for Jackie Robinson to come back out and get it next
So they would
inning.
just play around the glove?
Yeah. Glove would just be on the field.
What was the ruling if the ball
I
hit
don't know
the
what
glove?
the ruling was, but they just didn't worry about it.
That's crazy.
Things have come a long way.
Yes, they have.
All right. Go ahead.
Do we want to do the big five or do you want to wait to the end?
Yes, you had one more item. Thank you.
It has nothing to do with sports, but I think everybody can identify with this.
Number one.
And it is about something that happened when I was driving over the weekend.
Okay.
And actually, one of them happened on Friday, and then one of them happened.
Oh,
over
yeah,
the
two
weekend.
incidents.
Yes. So you know how when we come down from our hill, you're very familiar with it. You come down, there's that Taco Bell, McDonald's, there's that big light down there. Do you also know, Chris, when people are coming up the hill, turning left to go to like Vaughn's, that a lot of people run that red light, the left turn light?
Okay. Yeah, they want, because it's a long wait.
It is a long wait, but a lot of people run it.
Right.
Okay, so I want to know who's worse.
Sorry, I got to
What?
finish this up. 1954, baseball put a rule in that you had to bring all your equipment, including gloves, off the field.
1964?
54.
Wow, that's
But
longer
before
than I thought.
54, they kept the stuff out on the field.
That's longer
Isn't
than
that
I
weird?
thought.
Yeah,
That
it's
is
pretty weird.
super weird.
All right, sorry. Go ahead.
Anyway, no.
We're turning left.
So, no, the people, I was coming down the hill. I was trying to leave work. People were turning left, going into the shopping center.
People
and
are running
all
the
the time, people run the red so that they don't have to wait anymore.
Right.
Sometimes those people get stuck in the middle of the intersection
Yes.
because there's so much going on.
So much traffic.
There's
build
too
up.
many cars for that intersection.
And right, they don't make it through, and now they're stuck in
In
your
the-
way.
And our light is green,
Yes.
and we can't get by.
Right.
And so I'm honking. People next to me are honking.
Why
the
are you
people,
honking? They can't go anywhere.
I know,
Do you
I
know
know
that?
I want them to know that they messed up.
Okay.
And so people in their car are like throwing their hands up, like, "What do you want me to do?" And I want to say, "Not run the red light."
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to know who's worse. The person that does that and gets stuck in the intersection and then makes everybody wait, or what happened to me yesterday? Sitting at a green light, one of those long, or sitting at a turn lane, one of those long lights where it takes forever for it to change. Person in front, I was about 9 cars back from the intersection.
Oh.
Person in front of me on their phone.
Yeah.
Not doing anything. So I give the
little tap.
They look up. And then they do the thing where they go, oh, and they slam on the gas and they spin their tires. And the light turns yellow. They go right through, and I'm stuck at the front.
You didn't make it?
Because their idiot self was took so much time in the light line that now I am stuck because you were too engrossed with your phone. So which one is more annoying to you, Chris? Person who gets stuck in the intersection or person who doesn't know it's a green light and then leaves you behind a red light?
Well, it's a tough one. And I'll tell you why it's a tough one. In the minds of the law, the first person is far more egregious. As a matter of fact, the person
line,
staying in the way.
Intersection
hog.
Person. Okay, I like
intersection hog. That is a traffic violation. If I know it is in Los Angeles and probably most other places.
Oh no, it's got to be.
It is. If you go into an intersection when there's no room for you to cross through the intersection, you get a ticket if they catch you. So that person who was in front of you was basically breaking the law.
Yeah.
In the minds of, the traffic police out there.
Yeah.
All right. So that would make it worse. But in this case, I think the other person's way worse.
The one who
was
who's
so
on their phone.
negligent that they didn't know it was their turn to go, and then left you at the red light because of their negligence.
And then I had to make the decision, like, oh, should I run it?
Yeah.
No, I'm not
you
going
didn't run
to.
it, yeah.
On the chat,
Because I think the first person could make a mistake, think they can get through, and not make it. So I give them a little leeway, whereas the second person is just being totally
egregious and
in their lack of paying attention.
I can't even think of the word because I was so angry
just
over the
rude.
weekend. TRM said, person who gets stuck in the intersection is annoying to everyone. Person in the way is only annoying to the people behind them, which is true.
Fair point there.
Which is true, but they're both horrible humans.
All right.
Both of them.
That leads me to my next subject.
Oh.
I'm glad you brought it up.
Okay, great.
My guess is that Juan Soto, when
Wait,
he
hold on.
drives,
Ron said citizens arrest. Can
you should have gone out and just.
Can you imagine?
You should have gone out there and cuffed the guy.
Can you imagine me just walking out of my car and just being like,
citizens arrest? That's it. Yeah, that would have thrown traffic for a loop.
Yes,
but
it would.
you would have got the police over there.
Yes, I would
And you
have.
said, "Hey, this person was blocking my path. Give them a ticket."
Yeah.
All right. So, which of these two things, if not both, do you think Juan Soto does when he's driving?
Oh,
Because we already went through this whole thing earlier. Juan Soto is already getting the anger of the Mets and their fans, at least reportedly. He didn't run out a ground ball the other night, which is true. You can see it on the video. He just didn't. He blew off ESPN for a mic'd up interview, which I'll give him a pass on because I think he's done enough of those.
Once you accept it, you have to do it.
But if you say yes, right, you shouldn't
can't
switch
just
at the
cancel
last
before the
minute.
game because now the producers are like,
You're
what do we do?
scrambling. Yeah, right. But Juan Soto doesn't ever think what anyone else might be thinking, and that's my whole issue with him in the first place. The other one was that he left a bunch of reporters standing there, said he'd be right back. He had to talk to family, and then never came back.
Yeah.
That's flat out rude.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the Met fans are wondering, and the Mets themselves are wondering, did we really get an enthusiastic guy who cares about this team? And I could have told them that, no, they did not. Anyway, Adam Klug sent us all these stories today. And as I surmised, Anthony Gwynn Jr., who is on Juan Soto's side on all of this, and that's fair.
He's the only
He's a ball
former
player.
professional athlete on the station.
He gets a little more pull with what he thinks. He said, "I'm sorry, this article is ridiculous." So I'm thinking, oh, well, I guess I'm way out of line for being critical of Juan Soto. However, about a half an hour later, evidently after he really read it through, Tony said, on second thought, maybe not. So even Tony's coming around a little to the fact that, maybe Soto's out of pocket here. So I just wanted to get that in.
I mean, it threw me for a loop because Tony, and I know that people in the chat say this all the time, Tony's too friendly to players. Well, he understands the player perspective.
He does.
That's why he's friendly
He
to
understands
players.
it a lot better than you do out there.
Yeah, he understands it a lot better than I do.
Right.
And I can't believe that Tony would come to the other side of this one.
He's not there yet, but he said he said there might be something there.
We're gonna have to keep pushing.
We'll keep an eye on it.
Now,
we got a break.
Dang
So when
it.
we come back, you can finish the thought, and we have not yet talked about Scotty Scheffler, the cheating golfer, wins the PGA.
Cheating golfer.
I'll explain after we get a break that will include some traffic at some point.
Stay low. Hands on the heart. Stay low. knock it off now. Okay, take goggles down to your neck. Crash landing, huh? What? We're gonna crash land. More or less. We're gonna hit the ground. See my knee? Don't worry about it. Pick up. Punch up. Right on all the way down. Let it break. All the way. Here we go. Up there. Yeah! Woo! Up, 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 up. Woo! Stall. Arms up. Yeah. My turn. That'll happen. They're really sure. There, go, go. Oh, you idiot. Typical tandem student right there. I tried. I wrecked your good job, buddy. Fun, huh? You need help with anything? Okay, I'm nervous. Stand up, stay low. Hands on the heart. Stay low.
Hi, welcome back to Gwynn and Chris. 5:19 is the time. Priscilla, Tony Gwynn Jr. idle today. Matt Skraby alongside. We've talked about pretty much everything. There's not a lot tonight. NBA, they're down to the Final Four. And it is an interesting group. Knicks haven't won a title in 52 years. Pacers, T-Wolves, Thunder, none of them have ever won a title. Thunder were the Seattle Supersonics prior to moving, and they did win in 1979, but Oklahoma City's never won. Minnesota's never won. Indiana last won an ABA championship, also in 1973. So you're going to have somebody kind of new this year, so that's good. It starts tomorrow, though. Stanley Cup starts tomorrow as well. Yesterday, Scotty Scheffler wins his third major. I honestly thought he was way up, had way more than that already. Anyway, there's two headlines here that don't go together to me. Scrape?
What's that?
I'll pass them along to you. One, Scheffler dominates to win third major title.
Okay. He did do that.
Then just down below, Scheffler says his driver was also ruled to be non-conforming ahead of the PGA.
Ooh, I did not know this.
Not only was Scotty Scheffler's driver illegal, so was Rory McIlroy's.
Hold on.
They don't get in any trouble for this?
No. They
apparently.
definitely would. They definitely would. Now,
but they had to change out their drivers? I don't get this. What is going on here?
So they found it to be out of it wasn't conforming before the tournament.
I guess.
Okay.
PGA requested that the USGA conduct driver testing at Quail Hollow. So based on the testing, they found that Scheffler and McIlroy, among I'm sure a few others, did not have conforming clubs. You'd have to explain it better to me. I don't get it. I don't know. But nobody apparently says anything about this. I guess it's okay. Scheffler wins. He didn't use the illegal clubs. But I don't know. If Sammy Sosa was using an illegal bat, he would be suspended for a while.
They did not play with this driver in play.
Ever?
Not in this tournament. No, they actually
I know they didn't play it in this tournament. They were deemed illegal.
Yes.
But they might have used them elsewhere. I'm just saying it's a weird thing to me that if you're found to have an illegal piece of equipment in baseball, right, you'd be out for 6 months. Cheating the game?
I'm reading a quote from Scotty Scheffler.
So I'm just
kind of crazy now.
I'm trying to understand this.
So I guess the drivers were the tests were conducted on the Tuesday before and so they found out that they couldn't use them and they had to switch. Here's what Scotty Scheffler said, which kind of crazy. Quote, so the driver testing is something that regularly happens on tour. My driver did fail me this week. We had a feeling that it was going to be coming because I've trusted that driver, or I've used that driver for over a year. I was kind of fortunate for it to last that long, I felt like. So he's openly admitting that he's been using.
So he's used this for a year, and now they find that it was an illegal driver. Doesn't that take something away? I mean, I like Scotty Scheffler. He said that matter of fact.
He did.
And then walked over and picked up his trophy. Like, this would be, and you're talking golf, right? As you like to say, the most honest sport there is. But he's been using an illegal club. He knew it, basically, or he just said, I had a feeling it was illegal. But until they tested it, wasn't going to do anything about it.
All right, so it failed.
That's weird to me, the whole thing.
It failed a spring-like effect because they're saying the elasticity of the club face, which allows it to spring back upon impact with the ball, much like a trampoline. But apparently, according to this article, a driver 1 week could be conforming, and the next week it could be non-conforming because of the wear and tear of the club face. We're getting into the weeds.
That's getting technical, yeah.
But
that's technical. Probably too technical for me, but
he said we were prepared. It wasn't that big of a deal, so he knew this was happening.
Yeah, and it all came up because it first came out that McIlroy didn't conform after winning the Masters. It's weird, man. This is golf is supposed to be honest. Every one of these guys is pushing the envelope and beyond to cheat with their clubs a little bit. I don't know that this shouldn't be a bigger story. Maybe I'm just missing something here, but nobody seemed to. It's not a big deal. You didn't know about it.
I didn't.
So if you didn't, I doubt
Scotty
anybody
Scheffler
else knew.
was saying that he was having discussions with like the rules officials, and he said if they're going to test drivers, they need to test all drivers. If we're only going to test quote, if we're going to test only a third of the field, if we're going to do it right, leave it up to us as players like the rest of the rules. So basically, he's saying is they need to test all drivers or no drivers.
Fair. Test them all then.
I agree. I agree.
Test all baseball players. We don't just test some of them, but when somebody gets caught, man, they get suspended for a long time.
Yeah, they do.
Golf, just pick up a new club and win the PGA. Weird.
It says finding driver heads that have crept over the line of conformance is not an unusual occurrence, especially for clubs that are hit thousands of times over a long period of time. Players are simply asked to change the heads if necessary, and all do without issue. So it doesn't seem like they're cheating, but definitely seems like Scotty Scheffler knew that his driver was better than it should have been, which doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me.
It bothers me to the extent of they're using better and different equipment that I use, and they don't need it.
Well,
they could take my clubs and hit the ball
on the
300
chat.
yards.
Wouldn't that be similar to a corked bat in baseball?
That's what I'm asking. Why?
No, because you have to alter a bat to put cork into it. They're not altering the driver to put anything into it. They're just
it's being manufactured illegally, evidently, and they're using it knowingly. That seems like not a great combination.
I need to look more into this.
All right, you do that.
I'm going to.
Despite all of this happening, by the way, I got a good kick out of John Rahm being tied for the lead with a few holes left and then finishing 7 over down the stretch. Like he collapsed. Scheffler won by...
Oh, John Rahm.
Yeah, Scheffler won by 5 because John Rahm went away.
I got to say, this was one of the most boring majors I've seen in a long time.
I know Rahm finished bogey, double-double.
Did he scream and yell? That's what he does.
Well, he wasn't pleased.
From the chat, club manufacturers make pro club faces thinner than normal consumers, and over time they get thinner from compression. So basically, you hit your driver a bunch,
you hit it so often it becomes illegal.
Exactly.
That doesn't make a lot of sense.
It doesn't, but I get it.
How do you get it?
Because each time you're striking the ball, you're taking a little bit of that driver face off. So
it now hits the ball further?
Thinner. Yes, and so you're getting more of a spring-like effect.
That's too technical for me.
I know we did go in the weeds there, but I can't wait to get into this later.
I'm sure you'll enjoy it. You got the Skraby Chronicles coming up. We got a little break coming up. A potpourri of Monday sports entertainment for you when Gwynn and Chris returns after a short timeout.
And now, the challenger, representing the San Diego Padres, number 20, Kyle Higashioka. Just 1 minute remaining. It's out of here. That one up into the monster seat. Another home run. And that ends the round. He ends the round with 7 home runs. And he has earned a trip to the semifinal matchup. Now the challenger is a semifinal matchup. Number 20, Kyle Higashioka. No doubt about that one. That one carried on to Lansdowne. That one is gone. He now has bonus time. Just 1 minute remaining. No question about that one. And tapped it up to put up in the championship matchup. And that ends the round. finishes. Let's see what he can do. And now, the challenger in this championship round, Kyle Higashioka. That one carried out the landstone. That one is gone. And he's earned 30 seconds of bonus time. Just 1 minute remaining. That draw off the right pole. There's a home run. Seconds left. And now, the challenger, representing the San Diego Padres, number 20, Kyle Higashioka. Just 1 minute remaining. Oh, now. It's out of here. That one up into the monster seat. Another home run. And that ends the round. He ends the round with 7 home runs. And he has earned the trip to the semifinal matchup. Now, the challenger in the semifinal matchup.
You're just a half hour away from the Skraby Chronicles. That's right. That's when Matt Skraby kicks me out of the studio and takes over the airwaves from 6 to 7 p.m. Crisello, Tony Gwynn Jr. idle today. And Skraby alongside here in the Odyssey Palace Studios. This final segment of Gwynn and Chris today brought to you by Frozen Ropes San Diego. Hey, parents, here's a message from Coach Kurt with Frozen Ropes. He says, is your child 6 to 12 years old? Listen up, because our Baseball Summer League is the perfect fit for your player. It starts June 16th, goes through August 17th. Summer League includes 8 practices, 8 games. Go to SanDiegoFrozenRopes.com. That's SanDiegoFrozenRopes.com. I recognize that phrase, Skraby. Frozen ropes.
Yeah.
Because I gave up a lot of those back in my day.
I thought you said you hit a lot of those.
No, I wish I did. I gave a lot of them up. We're talking about last segment, and you'll check into this further because I really expect a report from you.
I got an explanation on Twitter.
Somewhat illegal usage of clubs by Scotty Scheffler and Rory McIlroy ahead of the PGA, which nobody cares about.
Yes.
What is your explanation? Why don't you give
it's
it to us
so
real
simple.
Quick? Okay.
From I'm sorry to depressed Padre.
Oh, depressed Padre is the name of the Twitter person.
Matt Skraby, the clubs are not conforming because they are so broken in. Hence why Scotty Scheffler is saying he's been using it throughout the year, so he knew it was about time. I'm telling you, the way that they hit the club and how many times they've hit a ball with that golf club wears down the face. You get closer to the sweet spot, and you can trampoline better.
All right, so all right, yeah,
I'm still gonna.
I guess I see.
I'm still gonna look into it.
Here's some cheating that I can wrap my my mind around. Philadelphia Phillies reliever Jose Alvarado yesterday, 80 games, violating Major League Baseball's drug policy. He was tested positive for exogenous testosterone, performance-enhancing substance, MLB said in a statement. Alvarado's not spoken to the media, but Phillies president of baseball operations Dave Dombrowski said the positive test was caused by a weight loss drug that Alvarado took during the offseason. Didn't work. I don't know if you saw Jose Alvarado this year. He looked pretty chunky to me. Dombrowski said that Alvarado accepted the suspension. It's not appealing. And then here's the quote that just annoys me to no end, but it's in every one of these stories, Scrabe. Quote from Dombrowski, it's not something he did knowingly. I believe that the way he talked to me. I would like one time, be the person other than Andy Pettit's the only one that ever did it that said, yeah, I knowingly did it. I was trying to get a little advantage there and got caught. And here's the funny thing. They're never going to say it. I get it because it's too embarrassing to be caught like this. But stop accepting the answer. It's not something he did knowingly, because you just know that's a lie.
I immediately think
when
that excuse is made, I think you're making an excuse.
It's a lie. Jerks and Profar, I love you, but you got to be smarter than you were. Alvarado, I got no excuses for you either, nor any of these other guys that get caught. Fernando's in the group. Don't think I'm leaving him out. But do I believe that Fernando did it unknowingly? No, I believe he did it knowingly, and I will always believe that.
See, I don't think he did it. I think he did it knowingly, but I don't know that he did it to
cheat. There's no other way to do it.
It was like a steroid cream. How can you become stronger from a cream?
I have no idea, but somebody thinks you can.
I guess you're right.
Barry Bonds, I believe, was regarded to have taken the same cream. There was a whole
Barry Bonds just eating growth
Who
hormone
knows?
cream.
Barry Bonds. I mean, I don't know. Here's another idiot athlete of the week.
Okay.
And then I'll throw to you. You got a couple things?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Here's idiot athlete of the week. The NBA has fined Oklahoma City Thunder All-Star Jalen Williams $25,000 for wearing clothing that had profane language on it during his post-game media session after their victory yesterday in Game 7 of the West. I almost will give you a break if your message on your T-shirt said, bleep the Nuggets, or,
something to do with that.
Bleep whoever thought we couldn't win.
Yeah.
Or bleep whatever. Or thank goodness we bleep and did it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't give you a pass, but I'd at least think about giving you a pass.
Okay.
For what he had written, you're just an idiot. The shirt in question had the words, F art, let's dance. Huh?
Okay.
Great message. Cost you $25,000. Hope it was worth it.
Some people will say that dance is art.
I would think, right? Dance, I think, is art to a lot of people. I don't know, 25,000.
Now, does it say
like
the word without any asterisk in it? Like sometimes you'll see an asterisk in there, or is it just?
Apparently, it had the actual word.
Okay,
but it doesn't say that in the story.
Okay,
but
you always got to asterisk it if you're going to put it out publicly like that.
I don't understand it. You got whatever message you wanted to get across, and I know you're richer than I'll ever be and anyone else will ever be. So $25,000, not anything to you, but seems kind of stupid to do that.
Seems like a lot of money to waste.
Seems like just give me and Skraby the money.
I'll take it.
We'll walk around and yell that 10 times each.
I'll go through tomato soup and all the paintings around town.
Right. I'll go to an art store and yell that once and then get out.
Yeah.
Give me the money.
Both Chris will dance as I throw paint on art.
Give us the money.
That is, you know what? If he has a cause, good for him.
I
but
guess.
it doesn't make sense to
I
do
don't
that.
get it. All right.
Let's go to traffic first, and then we'll get into what I have.
Okay.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Definitely seeing some improvements on our roads. Crash has cleared on eastbound 52 near Regents Road. Westbound 8, accident cleared near Mission Gorge Road, but we've got this stalled pickup truck west 8 before the 5. That's being pushed over the right shoulder. And collision involving a couple cars eastbound King Freeway near Kelton. That's over to the right shoulder. I'm Kelly Danick with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right. So a kind of a mini 30-mile zone here today. But we talked about this at length when it happened. But Elijah Arenas, remember him? He's Gilbert Arenas' son.
How's he doing?
He's apparently getting
a
lot better.
Decent human here and care about
how
it turned out.
It sounds like things are getting better.
Because it is pretty interesting now that he's feeling better. No one seems to, the story is nowhere.
Yeah, he's getting ready for basketball soon.
Yeah, it was only a big deal when
he got put into a coma.
When he got put into a coma. Now that he's fine, we got other things to cover.
All right, so he was driving a Tesla Cybertruck.
Okay.
And I'm sorry to anybody who drives a Cybertruck. I just don't see the appeal to the Cybertruck.
This isn't a sorry. Those things are sorry looking. I even if you own one, you got to think that they're sorry looking.
No, I think that they think they're cool.
Really?
Yeah.
God.
I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan.
Go ahead.
But he was driving one of those, and apparently Gilbert Arenas said on All the Smoke that his son was driving to his workout and the steering wheel went limp while he was driving. So he had zero control over the car, resulting in plowing into a fire hydrant before he barreled into a tree.
Yeah.
The vehicle then caught on fire, but the kid couldn't get out. Elijah couldn't get out because the windows were bulletproof.
Wow.
Apparently the reason he was in the hospital was because of smoke inhalation, because he was trapped inside the burning car for 10 minutes.
Yikes.
10 minutes. And
I have two comments.
Yes.
One, a long time.
That is a long time.
1 minute is a long time.
In radio, 30 seconds is a long, but 10 minutes is an eternity.
Yeah. Secondly, I would file a
lawsuit
quickly. And just to address it to Mr. Musk, care of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. It'll get to him.
I don't think he lives there anymore.
I don't think he lives there, but they know where he is.
You know what he'll do with that letter? Rip it up.
I'm sure he will, but don't you think a lawsuit's coming here? I mean, if the steering wheel went limp while the guy's trying to drive,
it's all
just about died.
It's all computer based, and so they have tracking on this.
I would think there's something there.
Apparently,
and you know me, I'm I throw a lot of that stuff out of my courtroom.
Yeah,
but that one I don't think I could throw out. The kid was driving to practice and just about died.
Yes, the quote is steering wheel went limp, and when I say limp, I'm saying you're turning it and nothing's
You're not
happening.
going anywhere,
Nothing's
right?
happening.
That would be
apparently some good
scary.
Samaritans came by, and he had a crack in one of the windows, and they were able to open the window by the crack, and that's how he got.
No,
out
the Good
of it.
Samaritan saved him for sure.
Yeah.
No, that was a much scarier incident.
It totally scary.
We kind of blew it off like, he'll be okay.
Yeah,
he was, but it was pretty touch and go.
It was touch and go, and I'm glad that he's doing okay, but that sounds extremely scary.
Yes.
Now, here's some 49er news, Chris, for you.
Well, it only took 3 hours and 44 minutes, so
I think I'm really good, okay? Because I didn't say anything once.
I would like to know what's the matter with the Philadelphia Phillies.
Why? What's wrong with them?
They did not score in the top of the first at Colorado. Go ahead.
Okay. after extending Brock Purdy last week, which my DMs were filled with, your team is done. Which okay. Let me get into a place where I can.
Please finish or confirm that it was people texting you this. It was not me saying.
Oh, no.
I don't want to be blamed for this.
If you want a quarterback in the NFL that's not on a rookie quarterback contract,
it's pretty much what it costs.
You have to pay what they paid for Brock Purdy.
Pretty sure.
And people were like, well, then you should have just let him walk. Who's going to play quarterback then? This is the cost of doing business in the NFL right now. You want a franchise quarterback, you give them $55 million. That's what it is.
Yeah. I'd have to go through every quarterback salary in the NFL right now, and I don't have time to do it. But other than Jaden Daniels, who's on a rookie quarterback,
he might be the
only rookie contract.
Yeah.
Other than him, name a quarterback that's not making $50 million who's any good. And I'm sure you can find someone, but you're right. Bryce Young, he ain't got a long way to go. Trevor Lawrence.
Oh, who's not making 50?
Who's not making 50? Who's good?
Ooh.
Give me somebody not making 50 who's good.
CJ Stroud.
CJ Stroud's also on a rookie deal, so he doesn't count. He and Jaden Daniels don't count.
Let me go through.
Talking about somebody that's not controlled by the rookie salary, right?
Yeah.
So they can make what they want, and they don't make 50, but they're winning, they're contending for the Super Bowl. I don't know anybody.
Right, I'm looking. I mean,
off the top of my head, I could miss somebody, and I don't have time to go through all 32
Jared Goff
rosters.
makes a ton of money. Jordan Love makes a ton of money.
Yeah, they all do.
Justin Herbert makes a ton of money.
Josh Allen.
Sam Darnold doesn't make $50 million, but he is
40.
Yeah, he's up there.
And he's, he still isn't considered a good quarterback. I mean, he had one good year.
Yeah. You're probably right about that. I didn't even think about it.
So that
like
answers that person's complaint to you.
Yes, but anyway, that's not the news story. The news story is that after extending Brock Purdy and extending tight end George Kittle, the 49ers have extended one of my favorite players on the team. Maybe the favorite player on the team. Fred Warner, linebacker.
Oh, our own guy from San Diego.
He is from San Diego.
We love Fred.
The girl who cuts my hair cuts his mom's hair and his sister's
What high school did Fred go to? Do we remember?
Hills.
Mission Hills. Yeah.
3 years, $63 million. And 56 million of that is guaranteed.
Don't hold that against the guy that's that good.
Yeah, he's very good.
He's very good.
He could win defensive player of the year
guy
every year if he wanted to.
Fred Warner's one of the best players in the league.
He is one of the best players in the league.
Good for him, man. That's a great career that he's had, and underappreciated San Diegan.
Yes, very underappreciated.
Yeah, because we don't give him enough cred. And Fred, just because I said all those nice things, maybe your mom's listening. Get on the show one day.
Well, we had him on the show.
Make Skraby's year.
We had him on the show.
We
did? Way back when. And guess what? Tony brought him on the show.
Okay.
And
didn't go good, or?
No, it went fine, except for I wrote down the wrong position on the sheet.
And we called him.
No, and so Tony says, joining us right now, San Diego, San Francisco 49ers safety, Fred. And he goes, I'm actually a linebacker. And Tony's daggers through his eyes, which I definitely deserved. I was
dagger to you, yeah.
I was just so excited to have Fred Warner on the show.
All right, well, let's get him on again.
I'll try.
Let's start working on it.
It's kind of a big deal. Now.
So what? He's in San Diego. He should do something in his own town. I'd like to see that. We got 8 minutes left, or 6. So I think there's enough time for this.
Okay.
Who would you put? And I think I know, but I want you to correct me if I'm wrong. Who would you put on the San Diego, connected to San Diego deeply? You're either from San Diego or you're really connected. You played here for that long.
Okay.
Or you know what I mean?
Yes,
you're connected. You don't have to be born in the city limits.
Yes.
But you're connected deeply to San Diego. Who are you putting on the Mount Rushmore? You got 4 athletes in any sport. And I saw this over the weekend on Twitter, and I thought, this is an easy one, but it's not. There's a lot of possibilities here, more than we think. And it also depends on how you want to do this. But I think Tony's dad has got to be one.
Has to be.
I believe that Junior Seau has to be another.
Where was he originally from?
Oceanside.
Oh, that's right. He played Oceanside High School.
All right. So, yeah, I think the combination of that. So I think Junior, I think Tony, and I know Tony was born in Long Beach, but too much of a connection to this city. It gets a little hazy after that because it depends where you want to go. I don't tend to include Ted Williams because although he was born and raised here and he played a little in the minor leagues, his fame came in Boston. So that's why I don't include Ted Williams, but some of you might want to.
I have a couple of suggestions when you're ready.
Okay, and I'm going to just throw one more name out there and then let you take a few.
Okay.
How about one of the great golfers of all time, even though we don't put him in that category?
Phil
Mickelson. Should he be considered despite many of the warts on his personal resume? All right, so I named a few there, but there's many more.
Phil's an interesting one, for sure.
So
I
who do you wanna
originally
bring
thought
up?
Philip Rivers.
Philip Rivers, no.
LaDainian Tomlinson.
LaDainian Tomlinson, potentially, yes.
Okay.
He was that good. He was an MVP. Philip Rivers, no, not good enough.
We got a vote for Clay in the South Bay, says Bill Walton.
Bill Walton, outstanding call. What a career. Hall of Fame, San Diego, all the way.
Katie says Tony Hawk.
Yes.
Tony Hawk basically put skateboarding on the map.
Yes, but I, being, not cool or hip, don't really consider skateboarding to be in the, and I'm going to piss off all the skateboarders.
It's a really athletic sport.
But it's just out there. It's on the fringes of what I, refer to.
Have you ever tried to skate before?
I can skateboard. I can't do anything that Tony Hawk could do.
Can you kickflip McTwist?
Of course not. Of course not. But because I can't do something doesn't mean it's a great. I think, look, it's an X game. I don't put X Games in here.
Okay.
Sorry, Tony Hawk fans.
All right.
I'm going to lose that battle to those people. And
Got
I'll just
another
have to
one.
live with it.
Got another one.
Tony Hawk's pretty, impressive though.
Marcus Allen.
Marcus Allen, great. How about
Marshall Faulk is
Marshall
another one?
Faulk's another one, right? How about Kawhi? He's tied to San Diego. Is it enough? Anyway,
He's from LA.
here's the thing. The conversation is a little more interesting than I thought.
Ooh, we got some really good ones, but you may not like one of them.
Okay.
Adam Jones, baseball player?
Yeah, but not to that level. Great player, but not to that
Okay.
level.
Well, Rey Mysterio, do you even know who he is?
Yes, he was in my studio once. Wrestler.
Yes.
Had his mask on the whole time.
Well, that's him.
I know.
Jimmy Johnson.
Jimmy Johnson, outstanding
But
call.
he's not a sport.
No, he is. I consider NASCAR's not in the X Games. NASCAR is NASCAR.
That's all I got for.
I think Jimmy Johnson have to be in there.
Oh, Trevor Hoffman
connected pretty good to San Diego. Yeah, considered.
John said Sean White, but that's an X game.
Yeah.
Cole Hamels,
good, but not to that level.
That's all I got.
All right, so I'm going to finish.
Antonio Gates,
love it, but not enough.
Okay,
I'm going to finish the day with these four.
Oh, Xander Schauffele,
good, but I'm going to put Phil in over him.
Yeah, you have to.
All right, here's my four, and then
okay,
well, you can DM me or whatever. Tony Jr. are the only two automatics. I honestly feel that way. I think you can make an argument for or against almost everyone else, but I'm going to go with Jimmy Johnson and Phil Mickelson because I can't break the tie with Hall of Fame players like LaDainian Tomlinson and Ted Williams and people like that.
Okay.
So I'm going to put Phil and Jimmy on there. Jimmy's the best NASCAR driver ever. You can make the argument.
No. Richard Petty.
I don't know.
Dale
Richard
Earnhardt
Petty was in a different era where there was like,
if you ain't
people
rubbing,
from
you're
one
not
state were in the competition.
You ain't rubbing, you're racing.
I know. Richard Petty was the king of the deal. I get it. But Jimmy, I don't know. I have to bring Bill Center in on an official designation there.
Someone said a dude that drives in circles. I would love to see people driving. I would love to see people get in a NASCAR and try to drive that thing.
Drive in circles. Yeah.
It is so tiring. I did a like a somewhat NASCAR thing one time, and I was exhausted after like 5 laps. I was They don't have automatic steering in those cars.
The wheel doesn't go limp.
No, it could if you crash, but no.
All right. It's a more interesting discussion than I thought it originally was.
I agree.
So there's a lot of possibilities.
I didn't think about it that way, but I
Skraby
agree.
Chronicles is coming right up. Stick around. We're back tomorrow before Padre Baseball. Tony will rejoin us from Toronto. Have a good rest of your Monday night, everyone.